Happy Monday. I'm Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today. We are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list for a reading today, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks in my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps. Those are pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway will be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes, so make sure you're tapping that screen. We will get to 50K in no time. The other reading giveaway we'll be doing today is a reading giveaway for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. So I wish you a lot of luck if you are participating in that one as well. Prior to beginning today's daily collective read, I will be giving a brief recap on what we've been seeing in the cards over the last few days. Now, if you'd like to catch those full readings, you can find them over on the place where we keep the videos. You can find them over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find them as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my stack. But before we begin today, first and foremost, most important question: how are you doing? Scale of 1 to 10. There are no wrong answers. I've been trying, how do I describe this? It's stampede energy. Okay. Here's the thing about, I gotta explain, if you've been feeling a little bit about like this, I need to explain what we've been picking up right now energetically and in the cards. And I've actually been looking at the astrology to try to make sense on the energy that we're experiencing, because it's wacky, okay? And if you've been feeling it too, and let me just kind of walk you through what we're experiencing. Now, to give you, if you have not been keeping up, we've been going through an incredibly long, prolonged retrograde season. There's been a ridiculous amount of planets that have been in retrograde for well over several months now. The bright side is the fact that this month we've seen some planets that are moving back out of retrograde, and that's good. But the order by which they're coming out of retrograde is less than ideal, particularly and especially given the fact that we saw that Saturn came out of retrograde before Mercury. And it's ahead of Mercury. Now, prior to Mercury coming out of retrograde, it was creating that feeling of like Sisyphean feeling, like that feeling of like trying to do the impossible, like we're not feeling like you have enough energetic support to do it. But what we effectively see now is it feels a lot like catch-up energy, right? Everything about working through that, like, and I would not be surprised if suddenly you went through this like experience where it feels like you didn't have a lot to do, and now you feel like there's everything to do all at once. Now, the other thing that's not helping with this energy right now is the fact that currently Venus and Mars are both in Sagittarius. Now, typically, and we just came out of a Gemini full moon in Sagittarius season. Now, typically, taken separately, these things are not a big deal. A Gemini full moon in Sagittarius season, that's fine, right? It's like having to feel like you're juggling a lot of plates. It's like learning to walk and chew gum, okay? And then you've got Mercury and Venus that are Sagittarius together, and that can also, like, that's not absolutely terrible, but it can create for what can often feel like volatilely charged circumstances or situations, things energy making big deals out of things that are really not important, right? The hard thing, but take them together at the same time that we've also got Saturn that is now moving back. It's again about to like start to head out of Pisces. And every time I read on the fact that Saturn starts moving back and forth out of Pisces into Aries, we start feeling like a lot of those abandonment wounds, particularly in the realm of the feelings, like what to do with the feelings. We've basically got working through energy that can feel like emotionally charged environments, particularly as it relates to circumstances or situations related to how much one has changed in the context of the past to the present. And that can be intense, right? That can stir up a lot of feelings. So if you're feeling stirred, okay, if you're feeling stirred right now, I want you to make sure that you're putting it into spaces or places that feel like it's energetically productive. All right. It's not about like, I kind of, and I want to describe this to a certain extent, because that's what I mean. Like, this is not the type of energy that you want to be making directions or working through something in the space of working through anything you're energetically harboring, right? Because the best way I can kind of describe it is it's like working through the frustration of the self, but being able to do so in such a way that allows one to feel like you're navigating in a space by which you're able to identify how one is facilitating in terms of being more energetically productive. Now, this is having a big impact depending on where we find ourselves on the frequency cycles. And it's also having a big impact depending on whether you align to masculine, feminine, or non-binary energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Speaking towards what we read for recently, moving through the frequencies, one of the things that could potentially be happening right now, and I just kind of want to like stress this so you're attentive to it, is the last time I did a reading, all of the energy was in much different places. They're all in a space of contemplation, but they're all having this quietude in different ways. Now, and it can, if you're not taking it into consideration, cause energetic rifts in relationality to what we effectively need at this time versus how we receive it. This is entirely the type of energy that reaffirms that the way that one is able to get one's needs met is to communicate upon them, not building into the context of expectation. Because when we communicate our needs, right, instead of projecting them onto others, it allows the ability to recognize or identify like what we're trying to do in a greater fashion. Now, for masculine energy, what we were really seeing is there's a tremendous amount of inner child healing that is potentially happening over this time. And the hard part, and like the thing with inner child healing is it's not easy, right? Because often when we're going through processes of inner child healing, it feels very much like, how do I describe it? It feels very much like reconnecting to something that we feel like we've energetically lost in the past, right? Like that is effectively like the best way for me to, if you were to ask me, like, how does one articulate upon what exactly one means by inner child healing? Inner child healing effectively means being able to ground or to be able to connect to something by which you felt was energetically lost within the self, right? And so that space of reconnection, as it were, it can bring a lot of feelings up, right? It can, because often, and I just keep on getting this, and especially in relationality to the feeling of masculine, letting go of things in order to be more masculine is what we see. Like that's one of the big lessons that we see is happening right now for masculine energy. Masculine energy does not have to be, when masculine lets go of things in order to be more masculine, that is being performative, right? When masculine understands that the embodiment of masculine is not something that one performs, that you can't help being in it. You know what I mean? Like that you are the embodiment of it. Then it allows for a lot of inner child healing because it allows masculine to effectively reclaim the parts of the self that they may have felt like they needed to energetically abandon because someone articulated to them that in order for them to be able to achieve their own sense of self, and this is again, like this is why there may be a lot of feelings coming up. Another person articulating they have to let go of parts of the self in order to find the self. Like that in itself is the discrepancy that potentially a lot of the masculine is connecting to. But in that modality, they're also working through the observation of the disambiguation between the vulnerability that heals, right? The gift of vulnerability that allows masculine to be reactive, which is the moment by which one feels like the vulnerability that feels like it's energetically protective, versus the vulnerability that often feels that same reactivity that can build into the context of being strong can also damage things if not ascertained or recognized enough. And this is why we do the work to understand the self and not trying to disassociate from our emotions. Because when we're able to feel our emotions, we're able to effectively untangle the difference between the emotions that make us feel vulnerable, right? The reactivity that is required in order to be able to be, in order to like move very, very quickly upon things, versus the vulnerability that often brings that same sense of reactivity to things, but in the course of doing so, actually energetically damages things. And so there may be a lot of the energy of the masculine that's kind of working through those experiences or recalling past versions of self where they didn't necessarily have that attenuation down properly. And there's a lot of potential articulation of that that's happening there, while also coming into the space of understanding that the ability to communicate that allows for healthy partnership relationship to occur with counterpart. Now for feminine energy, and so that's like some deep contemplation that we see that's happening there. Feminine energy couldn't be further from that right now. Could not be further from that right now. I just keep on seeing a lot of the feminine energy operating in the space of pragmatism, working and identifying upon what it is that they're working to achieve, being able to resolve and to do the things that they need to energetically resolve. And I feel like there's a lot of expeditiousness that we see that is potentially occurring in a lot of the feminine energy right now. There might not even be a lot of time for contemplation, okay? Because this is a lot of the feminine just like moving right now. But also, and this is the way that the feminine is effectively healing, because this is a time of feminine really working on building into the context of what feels like healthy boundaries. And for a lot of the energy of the feminine right now, that identification point, that what's so frustrating about building healthy boundaries is as you do so, energy will articulate upon one's own sense of meanness, right? And this is almost a lot of the energy of the feminine rehealing upon what it means to be mean, right? Because you're not mean if the reason that you're holding a boundary has meaning, if there's like a very reasonable explanation for why one is doing something, right? There's no meanness in something that has meaning. But often those that cannot articulate or understand that something that they're doing is energetically untoward will see somebody putting meaning towards something and articulate that they're being mean in the process, which is someone effectively trying to move towards not holding your boundaries as you yourself hold them. And so this is a lot of the feminine just coming into the space of accepting that, right? Not necessarily working so much on in the context of likability, but working on the likability of the self, right? The likability of the self. Welcome to Sagittarius, Venus and Mars in Sagittarius, which is the observation that if you look in the mirror and you like what you see, but not just if you like what you see, if you understand the reasons by which you're bringing intention to things, if you understand the intentionality by which you are trying to define and do something, then it doesn't but it only defies explanation to those who refuse to be able to see you properly. And the problem is when someone's projecting on you, they'll defy, you will find no logic in another person projecting because it defies explanation, right? That's often that's often what we articulate when someone's projecting, where's this coming from, right? It's like a big question mark. So that's why we see that for a lot of the energy doing that or working through that, not necessarily searching for answers in the context of seeing another person projecting onto them, but allowing for the projection to just build their own sense of affirmation and understanding as they continue to move forward in the ways that they need to. And in the context of relationship, for a lot of the feminine energy, it may be experiencing those modalities where the feminine does not want to be right now in the context of having to overly explain themselves. Because when you see feminine acting in a place of pragmatism, right? There doesn't and again, being able to articulate upon that pragmatism, it doesn't allow too much of a context of explanation. But that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy doing that work, that ability of doing so is also what's facilitating healthy relationship, because this is also the feminine that is getting better at being able to articulate upon their needs so that they are met. Now, this brings us to the non-binary energy. And for a lot of the non-binary energy right now, one of the things that I keep on seeing, and the problem with this energy right now, is it's projection central. There may be a lot of energy, like this type of energy. I've been reading for this, ever since Pluto stationed direct, on top of all of this energy in retrograde, because we had Pluto and Venus and Mars were like the only planets in direct for a while. The observation of working through, it's the same message that we effectively see. It's a combination of masculine and feminine work right now, which is they're holding themselves at a space of compassion. They're doing that inner child healing, but they're also recognizing that when somebody projects upon you, you observe, you don't absorb, right? You can't effectively work to energetically absolve another person's misconception of the self. But what's interesting about a lot of those relationships is potentially seeing situations or circumstances wherein the counterpart is doing the work to try to absolve a misconception of an individual in relationship. Because especially and particularly, I keep on getting this message about them trying to navigate some kind of situation by which another sees them as energetically aloof. And I keep on seeing that this is the misconception of another person aloof, but they're not aloof, they're energetically aware. They're very aware of the fact that energy often has the tendency of approaching them, not from a place of compassion, but often when someone hasn't done their shadow work effectively, one will articulate that one wants to come towards someone out of a state of niceness and compassion, but really, right, it's like the compassion that turns around and really it becomes the space by which another person takes something out on another person. And so that's why we see that for a lot of the energy kind of facilitating and doing that work, that's the energy that almost feels that sense of having to overly protect the heart space, like having to go that extra, like having to hold themselves at an extra distance because of a history of recognizing situations or circumstances wherein that has occurred. And that's why we see that for a lot of those relationships, the work of the counterpart potentially working to dispel those misconceptions on behalf of the self. This is the work that we see that they do, because that observation, right, being able to almost another person seeing someone and misperceiving them, right, looking at another person that is operating from a state of need instead of choice, that's often how others show their entitlement. So we see that for a lot of the energy doing that work, that ability to articulate to another, potentially even being able, and it's a caveat as to what we talk about in terms of relationship, by which when we're in healthy relationship, we never talk about the problems in the relationship outside of the partnership. We try to resolve them from within first and foremost. But if these are situations or circumstances where in the relationship is observing another person's misconception of someone in the partnership, that is that absolution that effectively comes through and being able to help another person understand the perspective by which another person moves through experiences. So we see even now that this could be a time of like deep catharsis and explanation, but also feelings of protectiveness and preciousness. The understanding that to be able to be protective and precious is to understand that we are protective of things, but we don't necessarily move out of the context of trying to protect for something if another person isn't in the modality by which they recognize that they are receiving it. Now that is where we find all of the energy prior to beginning today's daily collective read. But if you'd like to find that full reading, you can find it over on the place where we keep the videos. You can also find it over on the place where we keep the photos. You can also find it as a podcast over on my spot at Tarot Church and over on my stack. I'd also like to invite you over to the Stack to learn more about a very special retreat that we will be hosting this August. We will be traveling to Italy to study the tarot in the cradle by which the tarot was first discovered. We'll be taking a journey to Florence, Tuscany, and Rome. And we will be doing a lot of work on the tarot along the way, while also looking and studying the culture by which the tarot was discovered. And everyone who participates in that retreat will also be receiving a complimentary mentorship class with me. You can head over to my stack to find more information upon that. I also would like to invite you there to invite you to our next tarot class, which is going to be held on Thursday, December 18th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Judgment card. If you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my stack and become a paid subscriber. Your monthly paid subscription to my stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. And as a monthly subscriber, you will also have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. And if you become, and you'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member to my stack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you'll also receive access to over 20 hours worth of material to the Tarot Church Library Class Archive, and the option of receiving a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my Mystic Meditation articles there, which give you updates on what we've been seeing energetically in article form each month. I just released one recently on navigating this full moon in Gemini that we just experienced. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I hope to see you there. That said, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read in the next few minutes, but if you would like to get on the list for a reading today, the list, as always, is open. As always, it is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and my Lio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We are also at 2.8K likes. When we get to 50K, I will be gifting a reading back to the collective, so make sure you're tapping that screen, and we'll get to 50K in no time. And I'm also going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. We had to get on a little bit later than we typically do today, so I will point out that the list will be kept a bit short. So if you'd like to get on the list, please make sure you do so sooner rather than later. Also, if you are on the hold list and would like to be added back to the list, go ahead and let me know your name and the date that you sent in the donation, or the date that you were put on hold, and I'll be happy to add you back to the list as well. Welcome, Salima. How are you doing today? If I'm ever saying your name incorrectly, feel free to correct me. How are you doing today, Dee and Ava? Good to see you as well. How are you doing, Nate and Ron? Welcome, V. Oh, I'm doing wonderful, Pixie. Oh, you're a Gemini. How are you doing this energy right now? Bridget, so good to see you as well. Thank you for the compliment, Ella. Yeah, thank you for confirmation on how that you've been feeling it as well. Power by Flowers. Definitely feeling this energy. Grand Rising, Avatar, Pixie. I think that's where I've been lately, going through the grief my partner awakened. Sending you so much support on that journey, Pixie. I know it's not easy. Thank you for those gifts, Ivana. And thank you as well for those gifts, Ava. It's giving side eye. Good to see you. Nikki, do you want to be added back to the list? You've got first dibs because I know you held your reading from last time we were on. Okay, so Power, it's not that it originated. So we actually don't know the origination point of the tarot. The provenance is something that is questioned, but we do know that the earliest stated documentation of the cards was Italy. We find them there in the early 15th century. So I actually appreciate that. I like the fact that one of the things I try to point out is I think one of the gifts that we have with tarot is the fact that we don't have anyone who can claim the provenance of it. You know, it's kind of a gift to the world for that reason. Hi there, Scorp. How are you doing, dear? Oh, thank you for the compliment. I appreciate that. Sending you support on that journey, dear. If you'd like to get on the list, we're about to get started on a free collective reading. But if you'd like to stick around, we also offer personal readings for donations of 3 cards for $29 or more, 4 cards for $23 or more for my subscribers or members on the place where we keep the videos. So if you stick around, you'll be able to have that free reading, or if you'd like to get on the list, you'll be the second person read for. That also goes for anybody who's joining us across the other apps as well. Grand Rising, Nikki, good to see you today. And thank you so much, Lonnie, for the follow as well. I thought it was, nope, you're not late. You're right on time. I'm late. I'm in the upside down place right now. It's snowing. That's amazing, Bridget. Thank you as well, Power. Good day to you as well, Show. As I mentioned, we are going to get started on today's daily collective read. If you would like to get on the list today, the list is open. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We're also doing 2 giveaways today. Our first reading giveaway is going to be a reading giveaway when we get to 50K likes. We are already at 2.9, so make sure you're tapping that screen and we will get to 50K in no time. The other reading giveaway we're going to be doing is a reading giveaway for the highest gifter between now and the conclusion of the daily collective read. Avatar, you are currently in the highest gifter right now with 355. That's the number to beat. And before we get started on today's daily collective read, we are going to warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and I'm going to reveal the card. See how close we are. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the Wren. Thank you guys for participating. We'll do that again after the next reading. Nikki, I'm happy to add you to the list. You'll be the first person on the list today. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. Thank you so much for your patience in terms of getting on that list. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, it's a lovely time to get on the list. You will be the second person read for. That said, no better time than the present. Why don't we get started? Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, December 8th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first 2 cards in our 5-card spread? First 2 cards we are starting our day off with today are, we've got the 2 of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with the 5 of Pentacles in its upright. There's something really important that we're seeing right now in relationality to working through and building into. And I was describing this before we got on the podcast. This is stampede energy. It's stampede energy. And I was kind of expecting it to occur because, especially, I need to stress this. What we were effectively seeing that was happening prior to a few days ago, we had Saturn come out of retrograde before Mercury. And so that can sometimes create that space where everything feels unnecessarily difficult, harder than it needs to be. But now what's effectively happening is Mercury is coming out of its pre-shadow, right? It's starting to move with more alacrity and moving at the appropriate speed by which it typically does. In the same experience by which we're working through that, we've got Venus and Mars that are both in Sagittarius. Now, typically, that wouldn't be a big deal, but it's a lot of energy that is concentrated right now in Sagittarius during Sagittarius season. And the thing I would not be surprised if it feels like you're in a space where you have to bounce back and forth right now through a lot of different modalities, right? It's like it's not only having to move quickly, but feeling like one needs to move quickly, but also like having to switch gears a lot. And that's why I keep on seeing that ability of not working through experiences or being too hard on the self. And that's the only thing that's frustrating about it, because, and I was talking about this in the last podcast we did. The thing I need to stress is Venus and Mars in Sagittarius can sometimes feel very similar to a Venus retrograde cycle. Why is that? Because it can distort our perception of the self. It can create too much of an over concentration, like in relationality to how we view the self versus how we are energetically perceived. And that is not helped with the fact that we've got Gemini. We had that Gemini full moon in Sagittarius season, right? This is I keep on getting working through the context of understanding that, and especially we were talking a lot about this in the last energetic frequency read that we did, right? Comparison stands in the way of our own exquisiteness, right? And I know that, and if I'm saying that right now and you're wincing, I'm going to say it again, because the thing is, and I need to point this out, and like I said, this type of energy, I know we're not going through, I know we're not going through Venus retrograde, but this energy feels a lot like one. And the thing about it is, don't don't get too hard on over scrutinizing the self, and don't let the over scrutiny of the self get in the way of getting things energetically done, because everything I keep on seeing about that, um it has to do, like I keep on hearing, like it has to do it has to do with activating. It has to do with being able to facilitate upon things, and it's often the conversation. And the nice thing about it, I need to stress this, like Sagittarian energy understands that the only way, like, and this is often interesting, because there's sometimes like this argumentation. This is why the Virgo and the Sagittarian in your life can sometimes butt heads, because those with like Virgo placements will always articulate upon perfection that energetically, like that energetically supersedes above all, like it's working through the perfection of the self. um Sagittarians have a different sense of perfection, and it has to do with, and I want to kind of get it, like it has to do with the context of compendium, which is the space by which you're able to kind of look at something and understand it in relationality to kind of a greater, like a greater perception. And I keep on hearing like perfection gets in the way of compendium, because when you're working so hard on energetically perfecting something, you're not in the space by which you're making more of something, right? It's too much of that, like it's not too much of it, but they're different things. And so this is what I keep on getting, is this is a lot of the type of energy that helps us to perfect on creating compendium. And the thing about compendium is, you can't hold yourself too preciously as you're doing it. You can't be like, there's those moments where like you have to kind of allow the space by which you do something new, and in the doing something new, it becomes a part of something bigger. So the reason I'm bringing this up is this is having a big impact depending on where you find yourself on the frequency cycles. And we're going to talk first about these moon relationships that have been coming together. And you'll recall, for our purposes, those moon relationships were coming together between the time of Mercury and Venus. I mean, apologies, between the time of the Uranus stationing retrograde up until the present. So that was happening. The Uranus stationed retrograde, like right before that eclipse cycle that we had this fall. Center card for today's spread, to start reading deeper into the frequencies: High Priestess in its reversal. And this is beautiful, because this is the comprehension point. In relationality, what we see is the resolution on a lot of those moon relationships, because everything we keep on seeing, the one thing we were getting, and I remember, and it's so funny too, because it was taking me a while to get to understanding the prioritization point of these moon relationships. And I keep on seeing that it's that case. It's the patience that they're bringing towards one another. It's the space by which they're navigating things at a similar pace. And I keep on getting that ability of kind of navigating or working towards their energetic phases. I keep on seeing the most important, it's a combination of the two forces that we had prior to moving into this relationship cycle. And what were the two other forces that we saw prior to this one? We saw those temperance relationships that said everything is possible so long as the work is mutual. And then we had the magician relationships that said authenticity is key, because it acts as a beacon so that the energy that's in alignment to us can come to us. But you take those two parts and you put them together, and you understand that our authenticity is proportional insofar as we recognize and identify the intentional authenticity, right? It's not just enough to be energetically authentic, but to be able to articulate and identify what it is that one is being authentic upon, right? The space by which we understand like like what it is that we're trying to do more effectively. But not even that, the ability that we allow ourselves, like I keep on hearing, like the space by which they don't, like these relationships are demarcated by the fact that they recognize that they don't know everything, right? Like, and there's a lot of, like I keep on seeing here, there's a lot of beauty in those relationships. And the beauty in those relationships is based upon and built upon the fact that they work on, I keep on hearing, they talk to one another about, they navigate each other's phases. They talk to each other about how they feel. They don't project upon each other what they're feeling. And so for a lot of the energy doing that work, and I keep on seeing the hard part right now may have to do with situations or circumstances from the past, because I see that a lot of these relationships are healing from feast or famine relationships. And that's, again, with the next two cards we've drawn in our 5-card spread are the 5 of Pentacles in its 7 of Pentacles in its upright with the Hierophant, right? The observation, and this is every time, and we've had this happen a few times now, and it seems to happen every time Saturn has station direct in Pisces. The same message comes through, and the message comes through is, and again, it has to do with the space by which we unload our feelings, right? Unloading our feelings never heals anything. There's a misconception of those who are not in the space of sharing their feelings that by sharing your feelings, everything will be okay. It's not enough to share your feelings if you're not doing the work to sort through whether you should feel the things that you do, right? Because there are things that we feel that require us to heal outside of relationship, and there are things that we feel that show us what the work needs to get done within the self, right? And the way that we can typically articulate upon those experiences is by doing the work of running the emotions through the self, the refinement point. So if we're not refining upon our emotions, it can sometimes feel more like we're projecting those emotions out from the self. And so that's why we keep on seeing that if these are situations by which these relationships, they're building into healthy relationship dynamics with someone that just effectively does the work, right? They put that work in to be able to articulate how they're feeling, but not just that, they do the work to refine upon whether those feelings are things that they're working on within or without. This is also the energy that is effectively recognizing and identifying that if these are experiences from the past where another person was like saving the emotions for a rainy day, right? The feeling of someone saying like, I'm not going to give you these until I energetically need them. Feelings don't fix anything. And often the observation of the fact that somebody's been holding their feelings back only for the moment by which something feels like it's energetically breaking. This is often why in the space by which another person says, I'm finally ready to tell you how I feel, it's already too late, because it's the observation of the fact that it shouldn't take something breaking to articulate upon how much one cares about it. So that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy kind of working through those modalities or experiences, the articulation is helping to build the direction, right? The articulation is helping to build the direction. And I keep on hearing they're either articulating to another in relationality to feeling the frustration of, I keep on getting, inconsistent emotional communication issues, right? The space by which the emotionality should not be something that is only rolled out to fix something. It should be there the whole time, while they're moving towards relationship where they're recognizing and identifying the quality and characteristic of another, being able to articulate and work through those experiences. And I keep on hearing it's not perfect, right? It's not perfect, but it never will be, because that's what refinement means. Continuing to get clarification between our 2 of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our 5 of Pentacles in its upright, we've got here the 4 of Wands in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about the 4 of Wands in its reversal, because the 4 of Wands in its reversal effectively articulates to us the message I keep on seeing, and this is coming back to the temperance relationships. This 4 card has been sticking really closely to the temperance relationships. And for our purposes, understanding temperance relationships were the relationships that were coming together between the time of Uranus stationing retrograde up until the solstice period we had this summer. And for a lot of those relationships, I feel like I feel like the energetic frustration that they're working through right now has to do with, I keep on hearing like situations or circumstances that leave one feeling energetically open-ended is what I keep on getting. And there's something about that, open-endedness that we effectively see is, and I keep on getting this, like open-ended is like, and I feel like this is what they're articulating in relationality to the trauma that they've carried around situations and circumstances before, right? Because that that open-endedness, right? Like often when one perceives open-endedness, it allows the context by which you work to energetically resolve through something, right? It's like I keep on hearing like the gift that we give each other is that we don't leave each other energetically hanging, is what I keep on getting, right? The ability to articulate and identify what we can energetically expect is, I keep on seeing, like we work towards the context of being able to identify that that is how we keep others out of an excitability state, right? Like the more that we're able, and this is why we talk about, and none of us, I keep on hearing, in a busy world, none of us are perfect in that, right? We energetically communicate and articulate and we help each other through. But I feel like that's what I keep on seeing in relationality to energy that is moving deeper into relationship, identifying and recognizing what feels energetically reliable. And I'm not surprised, like I'm really not surprised that I'm seeing that for a lot of these energetic frequencies right now, because the thing that we keep on seeing, and I just want to point this out, this reliability is why these energies came together in the first place. They're incredibly reliable. I wouldn't be surprised if these are the type of relationships where others rely upon them. And so this is I feel like the conversation that they're having has to do, I keep on hearing, with proportional reliability, which is the gift of becoming energetically reliable, is the work that we effectively do, because that, like the space by which we're able to identify the reliability means that we don't like we don't like we allow another person to effectively be able to build forth upon our own energetic predications. So I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy right now, like working through unresolved trauma often feels like you're looking at open-ended situations, because it's so this is why you'll have to have those moments, be like, yeah, I'll really never know what was going on there, right? That is the sound, like that is the sound of trauma occurring, right? Like the space by which you say, I don't know what's going on there. Like that's often the space by which you can just about effectively allow for energetic closure. And I feel like that is the type of conversation that is happening right now through a lot of those relationships. The ability, like the gift that they give to one another, is best articulated in the space by which they give each other breathing room in relationality to how they can energetically anticipate each other. And that's what I keep on getting. That's what's so beautiful about those temperance relationships. It's not, I keep on hearing, it's not, they're working through the beauty of delightful anticipation instead, I keep on hearing delightful anticipation instead of unknown waiting, right? And even in the space, I keep on hearing delightful anticipation. This is the difference between energy. Often energy that traumatizes us tries to articulate the fact that they're trying to surprise us. And this is why that doesn't fly, because delightful anticipation is the ability to energetically know that something is going to occur, but not necessarily knowing all of the finer details in relationality to how something will happen, right? Versus the feeling of like those experiences by which another person does not effectively prioritize the self, and then articulates upon the fact that they're energetically surprising the self. And the reason that this is coming through is, you'll remember that before our last reading, our last harmonic reading, we were talking about what hyperbole is. And this is having a lot to do. There's a lot of relationships that are healing right now in relationality to being able to recognize and identify what it means to be hyperbolic versus what those experiences are, where another person articulates that they're being hyperbolic, but they weren't being hyperbolic. And continuing to get clarification on that between the Five of Pentacles in its upright in combination with our High Priestess in its reversal. We've got here the 10 of Cups in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about the 10 of Cups in its reversal, because the 10 of Cups in its reversal effectively speaks to us again. And this is what I keep on getting. And I keep on hearing, like, this is the message I keep on getting. And it's interesting because now it's moved entirely up into those magician relationships. And you'll recall that the magician relationships came together between the time of the solstice period up until the time of Mercury and Venus stationing direct behind Neptune, which was happening around March. This was coming through so much in our last reading. Hyperbolic is an onomatopoetic word. Okay, hyperbolic is an onomatopoetic word because it defines a space by which, when we're feeling frustrated, we always have that tendency of effectively articulating something that we don't mean. But the beauty of being hyperbolic is you pull it back just as quickly, right? Hyper, boom, bolic, boom, right? Like, that's like hyper, boom, bolic. It's a pacing thing. It's a speed issue. The word itself demarcates what it means to be energetically hyperbolic, to pull out, to be pulled back just as quickly, right? It's the expletive that is then immediately recalibrated with the clarification, right? It's like it's the space by which we say something from a point of frustration, right? I keep on hearing the mind, the mind sometimes clings to anything when we're feeling energetically frustrated, and then as soon as we recognize that, we pull it back, right? We go boom, and then we whoop. We yank it back just as quickly. And so for a lot of the energy working through those modalities or experiences, that ability of being able to energetically articulate upon something, right? Like that ability to effectively identify or recognize. And I keep on getting this. I don't know, this has been coming through. The space by which I feel like there's some circumstances or situations right now by which another person is trying to come towards another to be able to heal something that's been like long standing. And somebody else is trying to articulate the fact that they were being energetically hyperbolic. This was coming through heavy in the energy that is in separation, or it was in solitude, because and I keep on hearing that's not what hyperbole is. Right? The space by which another person articulates something, and then months, weeks, years span beyond, and then another person comes back and says, I didn't mean that, right? It's literally the energy that says that's not hyperbolic. That is the sound of you changing, but not articulating upon the fact that you energetically changed. Now, what's beautiful is I keep on seeing for a lot of the energy, the magician relationships, they're very conscientious of the fact that they've changed, right? They're working through that, and they're almost identifying or recognizing situations or circumstances wherein another person is feeling reluctance in navigating the fact that they have the possibility or the context by which they can, right? And so that's what we keep on seeing in relationality to the energy, because I keep on getting for the and this is going to kind of bring us back to the energy in solitude, the energy of the magicians that are moving deeper into divine union. Is the recognition point of understanding the context by which we're able to change is a gift, right? I'm not surprised to see this, because whenever we've got energy in Scorpio, we always have the context or the conversation related to healthy change or what productive change is. And so again, healthy relationship is always changing in the best ways possible. It's the observation of being able to recognize or identify what it is that we're energetically trying to do so that we can do it most effectively. So something I'm seeing there is the space by which, what's hard about that is for some of those relationships, I see circumstances or situations by which they recognize that they have been changing in profound ways in relationship and having to work through the rigor of someone outside of partnership not being able to accept the identification point of that change occurring. I feel like that's the energy that's effectively seeing situations that they feel the need to move away from because the energy isn't maturating at the same it's not. And here's the thing about it: we don't need to energetically maturate at the same speed, but the observation of understanding and recognizing the fact that something is maturating will often demarcate the ability to continue to move together or to energetically move apart. And so that's why I keep on seeing, that's why every time I read this energy, it's the same energy that's working on composure in the space of saying that energy, when we're changing in the best way possible, the sound that we should hear around ourselves should be a joyful noise. It's like it should be a joyful noise. It should be built upon or based upon like happiness. And often those modalities by which we don't recognize or see that, it sometimes feels like it's heartbreaking, but it also builds our resolve and relationality to the direction that we need to head towards, because it's the ability to see what energy carries the best interest, right? That works towards the best interest of the self. But I keep on hearing the best interest of the self is one that feels like it's the energy that effectively maturates in the same direction, right? Having clear manifestation goals, being able to articulate and see what those are, builds a lot of that anticipation or energetic excitement. So I feel like it's interesting because I see a lot of those relationships that are building into the context of being patient with the self, but it's the patience that allows for a point of productivity, because they're also not projecting that patience into circumstances or situations outside the self wherein another person doesn't know or recognize that we are being patient for them. That brings us to the High Priestess in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Pentacles in its upright. We've got here the Magician card in its reversal. So this is what I meant. Like this is what I meant. Like this, the energy right now is, and I want to describe it. It's kind of it's kind of sloppy. I mean, but it is, and that's what I mean in relationality to working through something. Because the thing is, when something feels like, I need to point this out, when something feels energetically, like when something feels, and I want to describe like the space by which we're able to kind of work through um like something that feels like it's energetically sloppy, like the way I kind of it's working through slopes, right? Because that's where sloppy comes from. So the thing is, like, when one is able to calibrate for that or identify that, like I keep on seeing, and I feel like that's what I keep on getting, that's happening right now. And the reason the word's coming through for the energy in solitude, because they're building into healthy connection. I almost feel like the energy that's building into connection right now is frequently apologizing for modalities or experiences by which they feel that they could be less energetically sloppy about their emotions. And what's wild about it is I can almost see the energy, like I can see the energy hearing that from one another and saying to one another, you have nothing to apologize for, right? And why is the energy going, you have nothing to apologize for? Because it's the energy that says, in the acknowledgement of it, there is no energetic apology necessary, right? Because it's the same thing. It's like I told you that often a healthy spiritual journey is closing the distance between moving out of one's own calibration and then immediately coming kind of like returning back into form. And so that's the energy that almost is articulating that to one another, saying like, you have room here, right? Like you have room here to energetically explore the self. And even in the space by which you recognize or identify the fact that something isn't energetically perfect, then that gives you, like, that's the energy of them effectively articulating the fact that they're seeing refinement in action. And that at the same time that they're going through that, potentially having experiences from the past where another person right? Instead of coming into accountability, is trying to repair something by unloading their feelings onto another, right? I almost feel like that, like there's that Gemini full moon energy that's helping them be able to see, right, the difference between the emotions, right? The emotions that another is working to, and I keep on hearing like this is what emotions are for, right? Emotions shouldn't be things that we pull, like emotions shouldn't feel like we're divesting ourselves of them to one another without without a reason or without an ability to be able to articulate upon what one can do more effectively. So I keep on getting like there's a lot of that, there's like a lot of that energy there, or working through something in a certain way. But it's all, and it's like I almost feel like the energy coming into union is apologizing to each other that they're not better at doing it. And the energy is almost saying like you're completely good at doing it because you're conscientious, right? Because you care. And I keep on hearing when we care about things, there's no greater force in this universe than the ability to care about something and the desire to do it in a better way, because that is literally the sound of love coming in, because it's the ability of identifying or working through the conscientiousness of how much we're trying to do something effectively. I keep on getting that there's a lot of that there, and that's why I keep on hearing that these are situations from the past wherein another person does not keeps on giving, I keep wondering, keeps on trying to give their feelings as repassed, right? Like trying to effectively hold back on emotions and only deliver them when it feels like something's broken. I almost feel like a lot of energy that's starting to lay healthy boundaries as it relates to past situations, almost saying like, no, thank you. Right? Like it's the energy going, no, thank you. Because it's the understanding that the feelings, right? It's the understanding that the feelings should effectively be there all the time. They shouldn't be broken out like they shouldn't be broken out only on special occasions is what I keep on seeing. It's like I keep on hearing like feelings should not be like fine china. It's not something that you break out only when you need it. It should be, I keep on hearing it should be there, like it should be there all the time. And so that's what we keep on seeing that's effectively happening in those experiences or those modalities. It's a lot of those conversations that are happening in the space of another person seeing how easy it can be with the experience of another who's also working in that same capacity. Continuing to get clarification between the Seven of Pentacles in its upright and the Hierophant, moving back towards those temperance relationships. We've got the King of Swords in its reversal. And you know what? I got to tell you, there's something happening right now in these temperance relationships. I got to work. Hold on a minute. Four of Wands in its reversal. 10 of Cups in its reversal. Magician card in its reversal. And King of Swords reversal. The thing I'm seeing there has a lot to do with, and I want to kind of describe what I'm like. These temperance relationships keep on articulating to each other how much they have changed. And I keep on getting it's changing in the best way possible. And remember how I said the relationships in solitude are healing by being able to recognize the difference between hyperbole, right? Like real hyperbole, and potentially even seeing real hyperbole in new relationships, right? Versus we're also getting the temperance relationships are getting hyperbole back. And why do I keep on hearing they're getting hyperbole back? Because it's the observation and the recognition of being able to know someone so well that you can effectively articulate, like I keep on hearing, like the healthy hyperbole is not one that you say in the energetic heat of a moment. It's those modalities or experiences by which you articulate something because, like I keep on getting, because you know counterpart so well, right? It's almost like I keep on hearing the hyperbole that becomes the energetic love language, which is almost like that space, like healthy hyperbole are often those modalities by which we say something to another, because it's like I keep on getting, it's the quality by which you know another person so well that you know and recognize the deeper context of a long-standing conversation that you have with another person, right? So I keep on getting that while we see that the energy in solitude is literally moving into deeper relationship by being able to dispel situations by which another person is trying to articulate. I keep on hearing there's no long distance in hyperbole, right? There's no long distance in hyperbole, which is the space by which you articulate something, and then you clarify upon, you don't clarify upon it just as quickly, right? I feel like that's a lot of the energy that's working through the difference between something that feels changeable versus something that feels consistent. While we see at the same time that these temperance relationships are going through the process of regaining hyperbole, because it's the observation of working through something in a delightful way, and even having those moments that they may energetically tease one another or be playful with each other, but it's a playfulness which is articulating upon the fact that we don't perceive each other in that way. Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Wands in combination with our Ten of Cups in its reversal. We've got here the Knight of Wands in its upright. And the Knight of Wands in its upright, one of the things that we effectively see there, the Knight of Wands in its upright, and we're going to talk a lot about, these are the Magician, coming back to the Magician relationships. The Magician relationships are working through others' misperceptions right now. And it's working through the understanding that when someone else is, the way you can usually tell another person is projecting upon you is that there's no room for conversation beyond their projections, right? Projections often create the space by which another, there's no conversating in the space by which another person's projecting, because I told you, it defies logic. Projection, the way, and here's the thing about it, like this is, and if you're ever worried, look, if you are ever worried as to whether you are projecting or not, just ask yourself, are you willing to have a healthy conversation with someone in relationality to how you energetically feel about something? Because that experience or that modality, like that observation of being able to articulate upon something, but not just being able to articulate upon something, but being able to speak upon it in a way that feels energetically freeing, right? This is why I told you that there's a little bit of this auric cleansing that's happening right now for those Magician relationships, because it's not the fact that they don't desire a healthy conversation, but they recognize that you can't chase after a healthy conversation with someone that refuses to have one, because it always becomes an uncomfortable confrontation. Continuing to get clarification between our Ten of Cups in its reversal in combination with that Magician card. We've got here the Wheel of Fortune in its reversal. And the Wheel of Fortune, I got to tell you right now, there's something significant about that Wheel of Fortune in its reversal, which I think is really is kind of healing. I'm not necessarily, I don't feel bothered by seeing the High Priestess in its reversal here with the Wheel of Fortune underneath it, because the thing we have to recognize or identify has to do, and like I said, it has to do with compendium energy. And the thing with compendium energy is, and it has like, and the thing I keep on getting on this, and we're returning back to the energy in solitude. Some things we can't energetically see unless we're looking at something across the energetic span of time. And I keep on getting that for situations or circumstances that are beautiful, like when we see, like, beautiful relationships are often recognized, most identified by the fact, and this is always like the bittersweet context of being in a relationship. The relationship is ever evolving. It's ever changing. It's ever growing, right? And it always moves into that modality. And when it moves into that modality of surrealness, we can often understand that we're experiencing something that we haven't experienced before. Because when we're navigating surrealness, like that's effectively what, like that's what we effectively experience. We experience that those surreal moments because they create those experiences by which we've never had them before. And I keep on getting that the surrealness of these new relationships, like they appreciate each other because they're giving each other the gift of surrealness. And what is surrealness? It's the understanding or the observation of saying to one another that they've never met someone like each other before, right? And I keep on getting like that. The reason that it feels energetically surreal is also the fact that I keep on like it's the space by which, and I keep on getting when we navigate our energetic phases, not in the space by which we articulate upon, like we don't feel like when we don't navigate the emotions, right? When we're not constantly working through the roller coaster of our emotions, but instead we're able to energetically talk about them, right? It allows us an ability to move through them more effectively. Because the thing about it is, like, emotions inspire emotions, right? Like, and here's, I need to stress this. You can't help, like, none of us can help being in a bad mood, right? But when we're in a bad mood and we want it, and we want to like, and we want to exude that bad mood onto everybody around us, right? Never are we more in a less healthy space because it doesn't resolve the bad mood, right? It almost like it creates that space by which you're just, and then what often happens, you move out of the bad mood, and now then you're like, why is everybody in a bad mood around the self? And being like, well, because you were exuding the bad mood everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, did you ever notice that? Like there's somebody in a bad mood comes out of a bad mood being like, what's gotten into everybody? You got into everybody. Like, you got into everybody. But when we work on kind of like, and I keep on hearing it's healthy, it's healthy fuming, if you will, right? Because when we're working through those experiences by which we're navigating something, right? Or like we're building into something and we're feeling energetically frustrated. But then we allow the space by which we just effectively identify and recognize what feels energetically useful. It helps us to, like, it's almost like, imagine, like, this is what I love about these relationships that I'm seeing. They're preparing each other for what they're going to find within each other on any given day, is what I keep on seeing, right? They're preparing each other for what they're going to find within each other on every given day, which is like, I keep on hearing, you found me here, you found me there. They're not projecting, like that's the quality or characteristic of these moon relationships. They're talking to each other about their phases. They're not projecting those phases onto one another. And I keep on getting, at the same time, right? As the same time that they're experiencing someone who's able to articulate upon their phases, potentially navigating a situation from the past where another person says, I feel better now. And when you're navigating a situation with someone who can effectively navigate their phases in a productive way, and someone from the past comes back and goes, I feel better now, right? It's the energy that says a walk, not a week, right? The observation or the understanding of being able to calibrate ourselves is how we're able to like move through phases without it damaging the relationship, right? And so that's why I keep on seeing that for some of that energy, the ability of another person to try to come back and articulate upon how they feel in order to fix something, there was never a question about the feeling, right? That's the funny thing with feelings. Often those that feel the need to express their feelings as if others don't know, right? Like, well, like it's like the energy that says the issue was never in the articulation of the feelings, right? That's what the Two of Pentacles speaks to us about, right? You got to do the work of both. It's not enough, right? I know it's hard, but it's not enough just to give feelings to something. You have to understand why you feel the way you do, right? And that proportionality helps us determine what it is that we do with those feelings most effectively. And so that's what I keep on seeing. There's a lot of energetic shifting, I think, that's happening right now in relationality to a lot of these moon relationships that are starting to move deeper into union. And I keep on getting like the deepening into union potentially has to do with not just the fact that they're finding the ability of another to be able to articulate upon their phases in a healthy way, but having some kind of experience from the past where another person comes back and says, I'm ready to tell you how I feel. And another person being like, as if that was ever the issue, right? As if, right? Those experiences by which there's a lot of different problems, but the problem with someone who's energetically projecting is the space by which they say, I'm ready to tell you how I feel. And another person being like, as if that was the problem. The problem was never about the feelings. The problem is how the energy of the projection is affecting, right? Instead of being communicating. And continuing to get clarification between our Magician card in its reversal and the King of Swords in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Ooh, this card slipped out, and I need to point out for those who are following the podcast, it slipped out, but it stayed in the deck. Death card in its reversal. And the thing with the Death card in its reversal, Death card in its reversal has a lot to do. Death card in its reversal has a lot to do, and this is what I mean with that scorpionic energy that we're seeing right now. Because, you know, Death card in its reversal often talks towards our own feelings of patience, right? And that's why I kept on saying now is not the time right now to assume anything in relation to anything that is occurring, because with these retrograde cycles, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of energetic heavy lifting. And I keep on seeing that when it comes to these temperance relationships, working through that Death card in its reversal, you know, it really speaks towards, it really speaks towards the ability of working towards, I keep on hearing, it's very hard to work towards peace. You know, the hardest thing you'll ever do in your experience is try to build into peace. Because the thing is, peace is not about, peace is often not about the most peaceful thing. That's the funny thing about peace. It's working into the understanding that when we are often seeking peace, we feel a lot of internal turmoil within ourselves, right? It's the observation of the ability of being able to identify and define upon what that is. And so, that's what I keep on seeing in relationality to these relationships, because I keep on seeing that ability to effectively identify and recognize, I keep on hearing, it's like they understand that when they say to each other, you are my peace, they're not saying that, they're not saying that as in a missing piece. They're not saying that to each other as if they were incomplete before they energetically found one another, but rather that the ability to move towards their peace, PEACE, right? To move towards that sense of self that works towards energetic betterment is often the space of being able to navigate the observation of the experience of the self, not just in the context of the self, but in the context of the energy that is surrounding the self, right? It's the observation of the peace that we find within ourselves that extends and expounds to those around us. And that's often why, when we carry peace within us, it's a gift that we bring to each other. Because it's being like, I found some peace. Would you like some of the peace that I found? Because I guarantee that when I enter in this situation, I'm not going to cause more conflict. I'm going to show up in a peaceful state. I'm going to leave in a peaceful state. I'm going to do my best to try to facilitate that in everything that we do. And so that's why we keep on seeing, that is a lot of the energy that talks to each other about how hard that work is, right? How much that work, what it takes to effectively do that. And often, I keep on getting, and this is what I meant in terms of them potentially regaling each other about the experiences of the past, wherein they felt more of that volatility. And I guarantee you, they're basically saying that when they're looking back at a volatile sense of self that was looking everywhere for peace and being like, why can't I find any peace anywhere? And being like, it's the energy that recognizes and identifies, right? They recognize and identify the fact that it's because you don't find peace, you make it, right? It's not something that you look around for. It's something that you create with your bare hands. So that's why I keep on seeing like that is the energy that like looks to each other and feels that, but they also understand like how much work it's taken, potentially and particularly in relationality, to working to absolve and resolve from past experiences, continuing to get clarification between our Knight of Wands and its upright and our Wheel of Fortune and its reversal. We've got here the Tower card in its reversal. I like to see that Tower card in its reversal as well. Because the thing with the Tower card, like this is I got to stress this right now. This type of energy, and I got to talk a lot about those magician relationships. You know, those magician relationships, remember how I said that the magicians were effectively like wizening to a certain extent? I keep on getting that like they're finding wisdom, because I just keep on hearing them understand that when we experience conflict in our experience, right? A lot of the space by which we recognize and identify wisdom is just recognizing whether the conflict we're feeling is happening within the self or outside of the self, right? Like that's often all we need to, that's all we need to recognize. And again, the space by which we're energetically, like the space by which we're energetically good with ourselves, right? And I keep on getting this. This is what's hard about it. The more that we work, like the more that we work to try to resolve conflict within, the easier it is to identify the source of conflict without, is what I keep on getting. Like that observation, that recognition point. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of this energy, you know, it's painful. They see things, I keep wondering, they see things now that they couldn't see before, right? And the reason they see things now that they couldn't see before is because they're working towards that space of feeling like, and I have to come back to the fact that we have to recognize the prioritization point of these relationships was being able to be in a relationship with someone that embraced them in their authenticity. When you build into a relationship with someone who embraces you in your authenticity, then it allows you, like it allows you to energetically flourish, right? It creates those spaces by which you often feel like you're flourishing. But again, it can often be hard because if these are experiences by which they're energetically flourishing and they're looking back on past experiences wherein they were trying to be they're in their authentic self, and another person saw their authenticity in them as like a weed that needed to be pulled out instead of something that is like allowed to, like that is built into the space of being able to like become the self. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, that's why, that's why that work in terms of facilitating upon transformation, like I keep on seeing that the journey of moving towards our happiness is often demarcated with sadness, because the sadness that we experience are those who are often like, and I keep on getting this, like this is why we give each other the gift of choice, because when another person feels like they've had to spend their whole life energetically restricting themselves, then nothing feels more painful to see somebody in their joy. And so that's why I keep on getting that for a lot of the energy here, like that modality of potentially desiring some kind of like space by which they can resolve something with another. Like I keep like I feel like it's the energy that continues to do that work to identify with counterpart if there's something more that they could be doing. And this is why we talk about the space of like the gift that we ask for is the gift to understand what is within our power to change, but not just within our power to change, in accordance to our standards, right? What's in a power to change in accordance to our standards versus what is in our power to accept that is beyond our energetic standards. And that's why I keep on seeing that like these are the energies. And again, one of the hard parts that we talk about is they're doing the work to assess the self, because the problem with standards is sometimes standards like to like our trauma often likes to masquerade as standards. And if you're ever worried about whether your trauma is masquerading as a standard, to ask your standard questions. Why do you have that as a standard? Why is it necessary? Because the true standard can always explain why it is the way, why it stands where it stands. continuing to get clarification between our Wheel of Fortune in its reversal in combination with our Death card in its reversal. We've got here the Four of Cups in its reversal. So for a lot of this energy, the Four of Cups in its reversal, just kind of moving into like the work that we see, I feel like there's a lot of energy that's shifting right now. And the thing about the shift, I keep on hearing, it's a shift that's built upon patience, you know? And I keep on getting the shift that's built upon patience is often, every time I read upon patience, it's patience and productivity, right? Patience is energetically productive because patience never feels like it's energetically waiting upon something, right? Patience is when we are working towards utilizing our time as effectively as we can. And I keep on getting that, and I feel like this is coming through across all of the frequencies right now. Always patient, never waiting, effectively is the recognition point in being able to identify and see energetic progress around things, right? It's the observation or the recognition that allows for that energetic discernment point. It allows for that feeling of productivity, but not just the feeling of productivity, but the feeling of nourishment, right? And when we feel nourished within ourselves, we become much more patient because we understand the identification point in not like in the space by which, like the space by which we're moving towards things is something that allows the space by which we don't need, like we don't feel the need to energetically rush through them. And I feel like there's something significant about that because the only disparity that I'm seeing right now is the fact that for a lot of the energy doing that work, that like it keeps on coming through. And this is what I keep on hearing in terms of like that full moon that we experienced in Sagittarius season in the sign of Gemini, right? If you need to feel like it's the difference between comparison and pathwork of purpose, right? If you feel the need to energetically compare upon something, it often is a sign that often those who like tried, and this is why comparison is such an illusion, because comparison is the space by which one feels that one must prove your path against another's path. And when you recognize that your pathwork is energetically exquisite, then why would you ever compare yourself to another person, right? It's not the space. You don't need to kind of come into that space by which you feel that sense of having to do something in that way. You just build into your own sense of exquisiteness. And that's that ability by which we effectively allow the amplification of giving each other that room, as it were, or that observation of being able to kind of allow for the context of something energetically flourishing. And so I feel like one of the things I keep on getting that is potentially happening in this particular, and it's weird, because I've been picking it up on it ever since we came out, and I need to figure out why. Ever since that Gemini full moon, the dispelling of energetic misconceptions, right? Like the observation that when we build into a misconception, it's often the space by which we arrive to a situation with an energetic prejudice, right? Something that we've decided or determined, often built upon what another person has told us too, right? This is why we don't build upon what others tell us, but often by things that we experience. Because bringing prejudice into things is often the space by which you energetically limit the possibilities of what effectively account. Like, again, it's just making a decision, like break down the word, making a decision before you have any information upon something, simply based, right? Simply based. And I don't even want to finish it, simply based, because simple means something that is lacking understanding, right? And I would not be surprised right now if there are situations or circumstances where another person was navigating a misconception and then going back to another and saying, can you please clarify upon why you felt that way, right? The ability to resolve, I keep on getting, for some reason with this energy right now, there is the ability to resolve, to see another person's energetic prejudices there's something, and I feel like it's the resolution point of a lot of these moon relationships, because understanding that moon relationships are built upon clear seeing, clear mirror energy, right? It's a beautiful to be able to see the self when one is working towards the highest version of self, but often the space by which another person tries to put their misconceptions upon us on others, like those observations allow, I keep on hearing like, I feel like there's something there. There's almost like this energy of apology that's coming through in relationality to, like, I keep on hearing like others misconceptions based upon unfounded opinions, personally potentially related to situations or circumstances wherein another was like harboring something instead of recognizing what one could bring forth to heal. And that's what I meant upon like working through situations or circumstances right now with like an open heart. And like an open heart is the is like, I feel like what's beautiful with like understanding an open heart is it's the understanding that even in the context by which another person energetically misperceives us, it allows the ability for things to effectively, like it allows for its own, I keep wondering like the conversation, I feel like somebody being like the conversation by which another person articulates upon the fact that one started off on the wrong foot. Like that's the type of energy that I see here, because that's the beauty. I like to point this out, like the beauty of all of this energy potentially happening in Sagittarian, like with all the Sag energy, is and it's a continuation of what was coming through. The best foot forward is always the next best step, right? It's not the space by which we get all caught up in relationality to overthinking upon a past experience. It's what we effectively do moving forward. Continuing, final card for today's spread between the Tower card in its reversal and the Four of Cups in its reversal. We've got here the Temperance card in its reversal. And I want to kind of describe that, like, the thing I keep on seeing here in relationality to energy that I'm picking up is, and I feel like it has a lot to do. There's something about working through, um, and I want to keep on getting this. Like there's something to be said with volatility here, and that's the hard part with volatility, and this is why it's so important that we move ourselves away. And this is the truth about it. I know it's difficult. Not all trauma can be healed, right? The problem with trauma is sometimes the misconception that the problem is that in order for you to stay in a traumatizing situation, you have to become just as energetically traumatizing as the energy around the self. And this is why we often need to get into the context of learning to forgive each other when we find each other in traumatizing situations or circumstances, because the space by which we often need to embody unhealthy qualities and characteristics in order to navigate something, we often recognize where we work through those experiences by which we don't, and this is why we work towards the space by which we identify and we come into the space of compassion for the self. Because often that compassion is being able to forgive the self in past experiences. And it's often like, it's not just the fact that one sees something clearly, but often the space by which one is able to see the environment by which one was required to kind of bring forth a lot of those less than ideal like feelings. So I feel like there's a lot of that type of energy there that is like working to resolve things. But even in the space by which they're working to resolve things, it's the observation. Like I keep wondering, the observation and the ability to articulate upon that, like that's what allows something to effectively grow and thrive. And that's why I keep on seeing for a lot of these relationships right now, and especially a lot of these moon relationships, it's not the fact that they don't have their moments. Like everybody has those moments, but they've effectively, they're working to close the distance in relationality to having a moment and then being able to come back into the space of being energetically balanced, right? And that ability, like again, often the sound of healing is not the space by which you're free of anger or you're free of fear, but you're able to close the distance between how you feel versus being able to bring it into a space that feels like it's energetically productive. And I keep on seeing like that is, it took a while to kind of identify the quality or characteristic of a lot of these moon relationships, but I keep on getting the quality and characteristic of this relationships is they're very good at being observant and knowing the self, right? They know themselves, they recognize their own phases. Bottom of the deck on this reading, especially with the Three of Wands and its upright. The Three of Wands and its upright has to do with healthy communication. And the thing I keep on seeing right now, and I was kind of bringing this forth, and I was bringing it forth in the energetic update that we did the other day. The ability, some things are better to speak about, some things are not. And it has to do, and we kind of like, we were walking through this to a certain extent. It's never, one of the most toxic things to say to another person is it's good to talk about it. Not everything's good to talk about it. If you're trying to heal a wound and another person's trying to force you to talk about something, it can often feel like you're just reopening a wound, right? The observation of what feels healthy is often the identification point in terms of our own readiness to energetically navigate something, right? It's not the fact that there's something that's effectively good. Everything is articulated by our own readiness in order to energetically receive it. So that's why we see that for a lot of the energy kind of doing that work and facilitating upon that, it's and I feel like, and again, I'm going to kind of walk you through this. For the energy in solitude, the observation of someone basically going away, someone that was in relationship going away and potentially coming back and being like, I'm ready to talk to you. I keep on seeing the energy being like, there should not be a space by which you have to ready the self to talk about feelings in healthy relationships. They should just always be there, right? And it's not the fact that sometimes we don't need, like I keep on hearing, in a healthy relationship, sometimes we need a little recess, right? Sometimes we need a recess. Sometimes we need like a few minutes, like a walk, not a week. We need something to clear our head. We don't need, I don't need giant spans of time to be able to say, okay, I'm ready to continue in an energetic relationship, is what I keep on hearing. And that observation is effectively what's allowing a lot of this energy to effectively calibrate in the space of building into healthy relationship with someone who is articulating or espousing those qualities and characteristics. Somebody who basically says, I'm not in the right headspace for this conversation right now, right? Sometimes just the observation as it relates to readiness doesn't mean that you're avoiding something. It allows you another to feel energetically prepared to navigate something. While for the energy that's moving into temperance, that's why I keep on getting they're getting hyperbole back, because it's a hyperbole that feels like it's a bit of an energetic tease, because it's a gift of another person saying, see how well I know your map. Right? See how well I know your map. Never have I loved you more by knowing your map so well, that I know that I can articulate something that I never would say, that I know is the opposite of you, because it's almost like the space by which they're understanding. I keep wondering the delightful hyperbole in being able to articulate something, but then know because of the understanding of one another, that the humor is the fact that they know that it's not energetically true. Hyperbole is a gift that we build upon. Healthy hyperbole is the gift that we get from strong relationships. But those who are trying to have unhealthy relationships with us, you don't get old relationship benefits in a new relationship. Hyperbole is something that's earned. It's not something that we energetically deliver right like immediately. While for the magician relationships, I keep on getting these are situations or circumstances by which, and I keep on getting understanding the modality or the experience by which we navigate change, right? And when we are in a healthy relationship, the observation of always changing in the best way possible, like that is the space by which we understand that I feel like they keep on going through these growing pains, which is the observation of them saying to themselves that they know that they're in a healthy space. They've been in a relationship before, never centered like this one. The ability to not feel like they need to prove to another person that they're in a healthy space, but almost like observing and not absorbing another person's volatility, to feeling them in a space of being energetically safe, seen, and supported. It's literally like often those moments that are so difficult, because it's like those moments by which we articulate and know another should articulate the fact that they're happy for us. But instead, when another person is carrying energetic resentment because we're moving towards feeling energetically safe, seen, and supported, those are often the modalities or the shape by which we start to see the full breadth of the trauma that we're healing from. Because it's the space by which we understand that compassion is something that we express and expand to all of, like, all those around us, right? It's the gift that keeps on giving. And so I feel like they're being very compassionate to themselves and being supportive, even as they may be experiencing something that feels like it defies logic, because the definition of the lack of logic is showing them where the trauma lives. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you'd like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a two-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never PM you. I will never DM you. I'll never slide into your inbox and tell you. I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on if you book one on my site. So I encourage you to do so there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the Sun card. Our next class will be on Thursday, December 18th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a focus on the Judgment card. If you'd like to become a part of that tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Stack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Stack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also, as a monthly paid subscriber, have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. It's not necessary to catch up. I'll be doing my best to give you an update on everything we've studied prior to beginning the next class, but it's a great time to join. You got some time if you'd like to catch up on some of those classes. You'll also have access to a complimentary if you become a founding member. Not only will you get a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you'll also have access to a complimentary, you'll also have access to over 20 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library at Class Archive. You'll also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, where I will meet with you personally to assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. And you'll also have access to my Mystic Meditation articles, which I release bi-monthly to let you know about what we've been seeing energetically in the cards. I just wrote one recently on this full moon that we just navigated. I also would like to invite you to join us for a very special retreat that we'll be having this August. We're going to be going to study the tarot in the place by which the tarot was first discovered. We'll be taking in Italy, we'll be taking a journey to Florence, Rome, and Tuscany to understand and to work with the cards, but also to understand and study the history and the culture by which we first discovered the cards. I will also be offering mentorship classes to everyone who participates in that retreat. I look forward to potentially seeing you there. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my students seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages coming towards you in the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow. That is our daily collective read. Congratulations to Bridget. You got our highest gifter today. And thank you so much, Avatar. You came in second, so you'll have an additional card in your reading. If anybody else would care to get on the list for today, you will be the 5th person read for. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I don't read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We'll also be doing a giveaway when we get to 50K likes. I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective, so make sure you're tapping that screen and we'll get to 50K in no time. I'm going to take a few minutes to read over some of the comments that came through as I was giving those updates. Also, just a reminder, if you are interested in getting, if you are a superfan who would like access to our superfan only disco channel, simply message me a disco gift from this live. Just send me a direct message through that orange icon. If you would like information, if you would like a special discount code on our class program, message me the word class. And if you would like more information on the trip, message me the word trip. Excellent. How are you doing today? And Aggie, thank you so much for those gifts. Appreciate them. And thank you for sharing the live, Per and Nikki. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. How are you doing today? Good. Good to see you. Hi there, Per. Welcome. And thank you, Lisa, for the follow. Excellent. Stephanie, I'm happy to do a life path reading for you. If you'd like to get on the list, list is open. You'll be the 5th person read for. 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more for non-subscribers. Hi, Per. Good to see you today. Luckily, I'm in a magician partnership because I know everything. Nice, Nikki. Absolutely. How are you doing today? That is beautiful. Yes, the list is open, Per. I've got you on it. Valerie, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. That was kind of lame. No, I liked it. It was great. Thank you for those gifts, Nikki. Oh, again, guys, apologies for that individual that came in. We've been getting a lot of those. Let me just mute them. Okay, there we go. And thank you as well. How are you doing today, Avatar? I really dislike that, though. Why say something you don't mean, even if frustrated? Agreed. This makes sense. Yep. Thank you as well. Let's hear, yeah, yes. The more one pushes against a partnership, the more they push them together. Beautifully stated. How are you doing today, Creative? And thank you, Nia, for the follow. Airplane. What? Oh my God, Per, that's ridiculous. Oh, I'm sending you so much support. Yes, I can imagine why you'd feel out of union with them. Hold these emotions for me, will you, friend? Exactly. Absolutely. So sweet. And thank you guys for supporting each other in the comments. Walk with purpose. Thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. Oh, is the potato gone? Oh, I definitely feel that surrealness. Thank you as well, Minnie. It's becoming an actual oh, that's wild, Per. That's amazing, Bridget. You should be proud of yourself. Fizz, I'm happy to read for you on that. If you'd like to get on the list, list is open. You're a wizard. I love that, Bridget. Absolutely. Hi there, Miss Bex. How are you doing? You can absolutely redeem your 50K. Let me just confirm what day it was. Hold on a minute. I need if you can give me a date, please, hon. I'm happy to honor it. I just need to know oh, I got you. It was Wednesday. All right, I've taken you off the hold list. You've been added back on. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the 6th person read for. Lynn, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the heart, Dan. I need to learn more compassion for myself. I mean, listen, the fact that you've articulated that is already like you're in them moving in that direction. So continue to do so. And I don't say, I feel like don't say need. Oh, thank you. Where to go? I like focus on changing your language. Just say, I am working on being more compassionate to myself. Yeah, absolutely. Christy, I'm happy to read you for you on that. If you'd like to get on the list, list is open. Just Nikki, I like saw you write pasta and I lost it. I know pasta and tarot. Yes, it is. I do like those combinations. Yes, let's try to do that. What could go wrong? What could go wrong? Grand Rising, Team Osana. How are you doing today? No, the potato is not gone. Is it? I want our fish back. I want our lantern fish back. I loved her. She was a queen. You're welcome, Miss Bex. I thought someone hit it, but I didn't see the actual potato. Oh, there it is. Well, I have so many questions. Why why is it why is it why is it a French potato? I don't understand. I don't under, I've got so many questions. All right, we're going to continue right now. The first person on the list for today is Nikki. Thank you, Nikki, for your patience. If you could let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And just a reminder to anybody who'd like to get on the list, it's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I don't read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. Also, if you have information that's relevant for our readings, you can include that information in the notes when you send the donation. You can also post it in our subscriber-only Disco channel in the appropriate channels. All right, where are we? How you doing today, Esteban? I know it does. It does. It waddles. It's you know, and also like, what's it making? Like it's clearly coming from the grocery store. It's just, why does it need bread? It's already got so many carbs. Oh, but no, that's even more morbid. Why would it be buying bread to do that? That doesn't make any sense either, Per. That's worse. All right, where are we? How are you doing, dear? Nikki, are we what kind of dream what kind of reading are we doing? There's a lot happening there. A lot happening, a lot of questions. All right, and just a reminder, friends, we're at 27.8K likes. When we get to 50K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective. I am going to keep the list somewhat short today, given the fact that we came on a little bit later. I'll probably be taking maybe like 1 or 2 more people on the list if you want to get on the list. Oh, okay. Just in general in relationality to the snow. Oh, okay. Before we get started, let's warm up the intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. When we get to 1, I will reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the blackbird. We'll do that again after the next reading. Ava, I did receive yours, dear. I'll read the list right now for anybody who's on the list. If you'd like to get on the list, you can do so now. But the list I have is Nikki, Ava, Per, Bridget, and Bex. So, and if anybody else wants to get on right now, you will be the 6th person read for. All right. Always snow. Okay, so what we're basically reading on is understanding why the symbology of snow is coming through the dream space. Hi there, Salama. I'm happy. So we just finished the free reading. So we do a free collective reading. So we just completed that. If you want a personal reading, those are donation based. So all you have to do is send a donation via my tree that is Binks in my Lio, and I'm happy to pull cards for you. But the collective read is free that we do for the whole community. Personal readings are donation based. I hope that helps clarify. And thank you so much, Ashraf, for the bubbles. Okay. All right. Okay, it's been there. So when I wake up, so are you saying when you actually wake up it snowed, or is the snow specifically in the space of the dream? But when you wake up and it's all snowy outside, and I love snow, it's always shocking and exciting. Indeed. Yep, absolutely. Okay, can I please get where'd my deck go? Yep. 5 cards, please. On the snow. Thank you. Yep, 2 more. Yep, 1 minute. Yeah, makes sense. Oh, wow. So I'm getting here that the dreams, the association of snow for you in these dreams has a lot to do with helping to alleviate anxiety. Because I'm basically getting like you're having dreams about snow days. And it's interesting because it's not just the fact that you're articulating in the dreams that you're dreaming about snow. It's really important that you mention the fact that you're waking up to snow. And waking up to snow is something that is very specific because typically when you wake up to snow, you have nowhere to go, right? Waking up to snow, you have nowhere to go. It's the gift of being able to have time back, right? And so the dream is potentially, it's like the guides are effectively, I feel like the guides are bringing this type of dream to you right now to, I keep on getting help understand the difference between, I keep on getting a restive state and a restive activation state. Because the thing, I would be very conscientious to figure out what you're doing. What are you doing on those, on like after you wake up in those dreams? Because whatever you're doing when you wake up in those dreams, that is what you would do if you have time back, right? It's allowing the context of being able to help you recognize and identify what feels energetically productive. I also feel like, I don't know why, I'm getting some kind of sense around something in terms of healing. I would not be surprised if there's something about you being very, very active in those dreams. Because um, the thing about a snow dream like that too has to do with recognizing that everything has an energetic season, right? There are times, there are good times to do something, and there are also negative things. Like there are also times not to do things. And I feel like I keep on getting there's a twofold message that's coming from the guides in the space of these dreams. And again, it's a little bit hard to read for because we're reading very amorphously. It's always, I'm not a big fan of working on the meaning of a certain symbol because the meaning changes for everyone. But the fortunate reason I can read for you in this way is because we've done work in your dream landscape before. And I would not be surprised if there aren't situations or circumstances wherein another person identifies the fact that you're not doing something because you're energetically lazy. Because the one thing I've noticed in your dream space is that you're always activating. You're always doing something for others, right? In almost every dream that I read for you on, you are in the process of facilitating. But when others when others are in the space by which they expect you to be facilitating, I feel like the reason that the guides are giving you these snow dreams is because they recognize the fact that you're going through a moment right now where you're trying to find your purpose. And the thing with the snow dream is you can't do anything for anybody. You can't go anywhere. Like I said, it's a snow day. It's not safe, right? And so the nice thing about a guide is, and your guides are very clever in this way. I feel like this is a continuation of the fact that we keep on seeing a theme that's running through your dream space and saying, like, look at you doing everything for everyone and not getting anywhere, right? You kept on having these dreams by which you're constantly doing all of this work for others around the self, but then you yourself are ending up energetically stranded in some kind of capacity. So the guides are almost helping with these snow dreams to reorient you in terms of saying, like, listen, like in a perfect world, right? In a perfect world where the expectation of others' demands are taken away from you, right? It's literally not safe to go out. You can't do anything for anyone. It's not, you can't, and they're even creating the conditions by which you're not even needing to hold the boundary and saying like, I don't want to, or I can't. They're literally giving you the caveat of being like, what if we created the conditions by which you can't effectively do something or go out of your way for another person? What would you be doing there? Right? I would be very conscientious when these dreams come through in terms of what you're doing. Because I keep on hearing whatever you're doing in those snow dreams is what you actually want to do. Right? It's you following your bliss. You following your bliss with the feeling of I keep on hearing without the feeling of obligation weighing you down from being able to see it, is what I keep on getting. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, again, it's saying like and I think it's interesting because I feel like in a way I feel like the guides recognize, and we've talked about this, like you're kind of on this hunt for the immaculate vibes right now, right? The immaculate vibes, we can't find immaculate vibes until we know what we're looking for. And I keep on hearing that the reason that these snow dreams are coming through is it's not that actually, thank you, it's not actually the fact that it's following the feeling, right? It's working towards following the feeling that you have in those dreams. Because I keep on seeing that it's almost like I feel like in a way the guides are giving you this like theoretical situation in the space of the dreams. They're almost saying to you, listen, in a perfect world, right? In a perfect world where you wake up and you have no external obligations, right? In a perfect world where you just open your eyes and every day is a snow day, right? Knowing that that can't be true. But what would you do, right? What would you do? What would the shape of that look like? What would you be finding yourself doing? Because whatever that is the sound of you following your bliss. And when we understand what our bliss is, then we don't go seeking it in situations. We look at situations to see if they have it. Is what I keep on seeing. If they bring us closer to it, we're not looking for other situations or circumstances to fulfill it. We're looking to see if it's already existent when we're coming towards them. So I feel like there's something important about them helping you to have those dreams so that you can continue to work outside of the dream space to follow that energetic feeling. Thank you so much for having that reading with me, Nikki. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you'd like to get on the list is open. It is 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, Binks and Malayo. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I don't read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. We do here highest priority messages from spirit, life path, mediumship, dream interpretation, angelic guidance, animal spirit guide readings, pet readings, akashic, and mind, body, spirit. If you have information that you feel is necessary for the purposes of our reading, if you have a dream that you would like to explore or past life you'd like more information on, you can include it in the notes when you send the donation. You can also provide it in our subscriber-only disco channel in the appropriate channels. If you are a superfan who would like access to our superfan-only disco, just go ahead and message me a disco gift. If you would like information on the class or you'd like a discount code on our class program, message me the word class. And if you would like to find out more about our retreat that we're taking in August, message me the word trip. I'm going to take a moment to read over the comments that came through as I was reading. And thank you as well. Oh, no, nobody should be calling you lazy. I don't like that at all, dear. Hold on a minute. Can someone in the comments tell me how to get a reading? Yes, so Shmi, all you need to do is send the donation payment via the tree that has Binks in it in my Lio, and you'll be happy to add you to the list. 3 cards for $29 or more for non-subscribers. I know those are great dreams if you love snow. Yeah, the waking up was key in them. That's very interesting because I stumbled on a video about, oh, wild. It sounds it. Go post it in the disco. I'm happy to read for you, Billy, if you'd like to get on the list. List is open. Yes. I feel like the snow, I don't like the cold weather and bad drivers. I am not I am not someone who is cold weather oriented. Megan, thank you for getting on the list. If anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the 6th person read for. There's always people outside. Interesting. But and again, like this is where we would have to kind of parse through, like, again, we can always start doing more dreams in relationality to the fact, I feel like the people outside have to do with the expectations outside of the self in relationality to feeling energetically obligated versus you being able to be like, I can't, it's too dangerous out there. Yeah, I've been working on slowing down more, and I usually have a hard time slowing down. So again, confirmation, that's what that's what the snow is kind of creating for you, right? A space by which you don't feel guilty slowing down. Yes. How are you doing? Thank you as well, Shmi. Thank you for helping them out too, essentially. And you can't win. You got one person telling you you're too active. You got another one telling you you're lazy. but I need to point this out. I keep on seeing like the snow dreams are almost showing you a hypothetical and being like that's why I said I'd be very curious to see what you're doing, because if that's that moment where even in the context by which you have every reason to slow down, you're still activating, then it's helping you. I keep on hearing it's helping you recognize like where you actually are, because it's taking the obligation of other people's expectations away from you. Oh, God's peace. That's beautiful. Oh, what a beautiful symbol. Snow always means my Father is near from the spirit world. What a beautiful communication that you share with them. It's so beautiful. Yeah, you got to do so much. It's everybody's a snow, but everybody so much. Yeah, like you don't have to do so much for everybody. It's a snow day. Yeah, I'd just be chilling and observing out the others outside. Yeah, the snow makes me so happy. You have nothing to worry about. Yeah, no, you don't have to apologize for interrupting. Thank you for stopping by. Wishing you a beautiful day. Yeah. Excellent. That's so interesting. I hope I have another. Yeah, again, if you want to give me more details, we can start doing more individuated readings on each experience. Thank you. I've got you on the list, dear. And Dada, thank you for sharing the live. Always appreciate when you guys share the live. All right, we're going to continue right now. Next person on the list for today is Ava. Ava, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And again, if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 person read for. It's on the disco. Thank you. And just a reminder to my friend, if you are here and you have information that you feel is relevant for our readings, you can post it in the notes when you send the donation or in our subscriber only disco channel. All right, I'm going to pin you up. Oh, it's inside tea. Thank you for letting me know. Before we continue, let's warm up those intuition muscles with an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10. When we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hair. All right. I just need a moment to read over this as it's inside tea, and then we'll continue with the reading. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's something important that's potentially, I feel like there's something energetically important there that I just keep on hearing the words warrior lesson. And the thing with working through a warrior lesson is often I keep on getting the observation or understanding um, that I can see this like wacky frustration where you're doing something and then another person, like somebody tells you how to do something by the letter, and then another person comes up and tells you to do something that is completely antithetical to what the last person told you, is what I keep on seeing. And um, I feel like there's something, it's interesting because I feel like there's something really important that's happening there in relationality to, I keep on hearing, um, are you getting angry or are you smiling? Is it because I feel like the thing you have to the thing I keep on seeing, and I think it's actually interesting, is you have to understand you are there, you're there to effectively find your footing, right? You're there to become energetically grounded. And I keep on hearing the same message that's coming through. And I feel like it has a little bit to do with them kind of like working through something in the space of like their own like, and I feel like it's interesting because it does have to do with the context of understanding that the we cannot control, right? We cannot control what others bring towards us, right? But we always can control how we energetically navigate something, is what I keep on hearing, right? That observation or that situation by which I keep on hearing, um, like observing and not absorbing, or the space by which you notice something that feels energetically interesting. Um, I almost see like I feel like this is some kind of experience that's helping you to like work. I keep on hearing working through the experience of whether you're actually energetically doing something wrong or if you're navigating an environment where it's very hard to find the right thing to do. Those are different things, is what I keep on seeing. And I feel like I keep on hearing like this is like you being able, I feel like you being able to find your footing through like I keep on getting volatility, as it were. um I feel like it's kind of building into like I feel like there's something in relationality to that energy that feels like it's wild because I feel like it's the energy that's trying to help you, is what I keep on getting. But it's trying to help you like through navigating. It's like helping. It's trying to help you through navigating something that feels like I keep on getting. Like I keep on feeling like it's helping you heal from the that's not right energy, where you may kind of like have those moments where you overly doubt yourself, is what I keep on seeing. And I just keep on hearing like that's not right, that's not right. Right. And I keep and in relationality to the angelic guidance on it, um, I feel like there's something important there that's coming through in terms of it bringing up old wounds, you know? Like I feel like there's something very important about it potentially. And I keep on remember how I told you that being there would potentially trigger you, you know? This is one of the things I was talking about in relationality to feeling like having those moments of like feeling energetically triggered because um I just keep on seeing like I keep on seeing some kind of situation or circumstance um by which there's something important I keep on getting, and I'm sorry, it's a very attenuated message, and I'm trying to determine the angelic that's giving it. Um, the ability to energetically perfect upon something often requires the unification point, right? Like it's I keep on getting like the ability to energetically unify, and I keep on seeing that that space in terms of um I keep on getting like that space by which you feel energetically frustrated or working through something in such a way by which I keep on getting the same message. Like I feel like it's almost like I feel like there's all of this like there's this like anger that's coming up, right? And I keep on hearing like the anger is related to a fear. And the fear like the fear is something that you're kind of working to heal from because um it's it's like and it's so attenuated so it's like taking me a minute to kind of pull it out but the how do I describe this best? It's not a space like I keep on sorry, the message that was coming through which is angelic and it's also like it's the understanding that that the space is not and I feel like it has to do with the continuation of you feeling like, and I'll point this out, you articulated to me an energetic feeling when you first got there that you didn't necessarily feel like you could do anything right, right? You felt like you were constantly in that space of messing up. But I keep on getting like that is the nature of the locationality. You can't perfect being there, right? If it's the modality by which you experience something that feels energetically like perfect, then I keep on seeing it's not the space by which you're working to heal something. I feel like it's bringing up a lot of unresolved things, and even in the space. And I don't know if the energy around you is doing it intentionally. Like I don't think that there's potentially like the intentionality of something. It doesn't matter if something's intentional or not, but I almost see the space by which another is able to kind of like I feel like there's a very attenuated message in having to recognize or to work through the ability to like learn how another person does something, right? And then in the space by which you learn how another person does something, and then but then another person says, "No, I do it this way." Like that is almost like that is the sound of you building into confidence and being able to trust yourself because it's almost I keep on hearing it's the observation of being able to recognize and understand that everybody like embodies the lessons in different ways, right? So there's a lot of that. I feel like there's a lot of that work that's happening. And I keep on seeing, even in the space by which you have this energy that's very focused on doing something. But every time you meet with one of them, they go, no, 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 that's not how I do it. This is how I do it, right? It's working through, like it's working. I keep on hearing, I want you to think of each one of the, what if instead of trying to figure out which one is right, thinking that each one is a teacher, right? And so when you go to each teacher and they say, no, that's not the right way of doing this, right? Then it allows you, I keep on hearing, it allows you, like I just keep on hearing the same message from the angelic, which says, think of each one as teacher. Because the observation of you effectively going to one and then doing it the way that the other one did it, and then I'm going, no, that's not how I do it. You know, this is the modality or the experience by which, again, I said, like, you can be like, I am here, I'm welcoming the opportunity. Like I am welcoming the opportunity to learn your energetic practice, right? Not feeling it from the perception of the fact that you're potentially doing it wrong, but that they're each showing you the way that they themselves do something, is what I keep on hearing. So I feel like that is like that is the big message that's coming. It's a very interesting angelic I'm pulling on. But that's what I feel like the thing, and that's what I like, if that is the, and I feel like that is what I meant in relationality to the work that you yourself are also working to do there, right? Like I keep on getting healing, like I keep on hearing, you will not win the retreat, right? I keep on hearing, there will not be a modality by which you say, I've figured, like I know how to do this retreat, like this retreat properly. It's a space by which you understand and you learn, right? And coming from a space and saying, like, I've learned a lot of things in the time there, is the observation of being able to identify and embody everyone's unique experiences being there, is what I keep on hearing. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, you see? If you go there, if there's some kind of environment there by which you articulate, like I keep on seeing the identification point of everyone having, I feel like everyone there has an energetically unique connection. And I keep on hearing, imagine that everything, like I keep on seeing the energy there, everything they do is something that they themselves, like it's their particular perspective on things. It's their energetic uniqueness point. I keep on getting, it's not uniform, because they're all like, it's like, I feel like it's almost like the disambiguation in terms of them all building into the context of having a very unique connection, and something about the work they do. Like I keep wondering, when you think about the fact that the work that you're doing with them is not separated by their spiritual connection, then when you look at someone showing you how to do something, right? And then you say, but that's not how the last person told me, being like, yeah, that's their spiritual connection. This is my this is my spiritual connection. Because if you think about the fact that their hands are blessed and they're working in spirit, then that observational point of each one of you potentially articulating in terms of saying there's no right way of doing it. They're all showing you their unique way by which they embody the work that they do. And I feel like if you're able to identify and recognize that as an exploration, not necessarily in terms of saying what, like not saying what is the right way to do, but saying, I'm here to learn how you do something. When you think about it in that way, I feel like it's going to potentially like allow it to be, don't think of the work as separate from the practice. Think of it as a continuation of what it is that you're doing in all the other contexts of it, is what I keep on getting. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. I have to do a little exploration on the angelic I was pulling on with that. If you want to reach out to me after, I need to do a little bit of, I need to see if I can get more clarity on it. If this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. It's 3 cards for a donation of 29 or more. 4 cards for a donation of 23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I don't read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over the list. The list I have right now is Per, Bridget, Bex, and Megan. If you have sent a donation and I haven't stated your name, just give me the name and I'll be happy to check. Also, Shmi, the apps don't like it when we mention other apps on the app. So if you're going to mention it, just put the letter. You don't have to put the full name of the other app. They hate it. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. Actually, the past life did not come through on this one. It would be lovely. Yep. Oh, that's beautiful, Nikki. Yes, look at that beautiful assortment. No, did you see the assortment of cards? It was really incredible. Yeah. It would be easier if they were a bit more open-minded about the other ways. Welcome to life. I like, yes, many things would be easier in life if others were open-minded about other ways. I like that perspective. I feel like when you're new to a path and people who are in it are rough. Yeah. You're welcome, Ava. I hope that helps. No problem, Megan. All right, we're going to continue right now. And if I'm ever saying your name incorrectly, feel free to correct me. All right, the next person we're reading for right now is Per. Per, if you're here, can you respond? Ooh, can you respond? I can't read all. Really? Okay, hold on. If you're here, can you respond in all caps? Okay, these are your cards. If you can respond in all caps, let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. And if anybody else wants to get on the list right now, you will be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th person read for. There are so many cards here, Per. What's going on? And I was gonna put them back. I was like, I can't. It's fine. It'll be. You saw them. I had to pull them out. Okay. Dream on Disco. Okay, perfect. Okay, before we continue, let's do an animal intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. I'm going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the hair again. Interesting. Okay. Yep, again, and then we're going to pull up here. I'm going to pull up Per. Guys, make sure to give Per some love. What's going on with these? Oh, no wonder. There's so many. Okay, 2 dream fragments. Outside tea. I was walking outside with a good friend of mine. She had okay. And we passed a couple of people with whom we actually no longer have contact. At a certain point, my friend was able to settle down. She had arranged a nice, cozy little corner for herself on the street. Significant in the dream is that she was gifted a black bracelet made of obsidian or tourmaline with orange stones at the ends. The bracelet I've seen from all possible angles in my dream. Fragment 2. I, the aunt, and 3 cousins ate together and talked serious conversations, and I was going to spend the night there. One of my cousins recently had a baby in real life, and I told him I was sorry for congratulating him this late. He acted strangely toward me, and it irritated me a little, so I asked him what was going on. My other cousin said that congratulations were completely inappropriate. Oh, because the baby had passed on. And I felt so terrible, I immediately went to my cousin to comfort him. He ran away from me out of the house and threw up in the street. I still tried to comfort him by hugging him. We calmed down and went back into the house to prepare for the night. One of my cousins wasn't present during this scene. In my dream, I observed her in her own house dancing with friends. It was weird, like an astral in a dream or a dream in a dream. Okay, The dreams are connected, and we're going to go through the connection. The first dream, we see you and a friend, and you said that in the dream, you passed a couple of people with whom you actually no longer have any contact. Okay? And you said at a certain point, your friend was able to finally settle down, and she arranged a nice, cozy little corner for herself on the street. But the significant point in this dream was that you described the fact that they'd been gifted a black bracelet made of obsidian or tourmaline, and a black stone, with orange stones at the end. And the bracelet you said you saw on all angles in the dream. So obsidian and tourmaline are protection stones. They're black stones, and typically the darker stones always work towards energetic protection. And it's interesting that you described the fact that there were orange stones at the end of it, because what we basically see is that to a certain extent, your friend has worked towards the space by which they're articulating the fact that they're wearing some type of jewelry of protection. And in the same breath that you articulated upon the fact that you said that your friend was wearing a stone of protection, you literally described the fact that you were walking outside and you passed a couple of people that you no longer had any contact with. And the question would be why, right? But the important thing, and I feel like the message that the guides are effectively bringing forth, is when you look at that, it was just you and your friend and all these people that you used to know, which is the message from the guides that basically articulates and says, when you start to hold yourself more carefully, when you start prioritizing the protection of the self, be prepared to experience loneliness, right? The observation that as we start to build into holding ourselves more carefully, one of the first things that we start to experience is more of those spaces of energetic isolation, which has to do with the fact that you described that there were only 2 orange stones at the end. Because it's like once you go through that process of protecting the self from anything that you're working to heal from, it says it's almost like the space by which the relationships become ones of quality, not necessarily quantity. Now this brings us to the second dream. And in the second dream, it is a karmic dream to show what it is that you're healing from. The circumstances, because there's a question that's energetically begged in relationality to why there is a separation from the individuals that happened at the time that protection occurred. We describe a situation where you talk about the fact that you are in a family environment. Families take care of each other. Families support each other. Families protect each other, or that's what they're supposed to do. And you articulated the fact that you said that one of your cousins recently had a child. So you just described the situation by which you're sitting in a room with a bunch of people that are supposed to be your energetic family, okay? And you said you apologized to an individual because you were late in congratulating them on something that had occurred that was a joyful moment. And they acted strangely towards you and irritated, and you asked him what was going on. Only at that moment does the cousin, and I'll stress that this is not the real family that we're speaking on. This is the energy of, this is a karmic situation. So they're utilizing the representation points of individuals to show you what would be untoward. Only at that moment, after you have created a grievous faux pas, does your cousin, who has the information necessary, articulate to you in the intervening time between the happy thing and the sad thing, which is why it now is creating a situation by which you have inadvertently created trauma to that individual. And you said you felt so terrible. Who wouldn't? You immediately went to the cousin to comfort them, and they ran away from you out of the house and threw up in the street. And you said you tried to comfort them by hugging them and calm them down, but then you went back to the house, the prayer for the night, but you said your cousins weren't present. And what were they doing? You saw them dancing. So this is effectively defining the reasons by which some of those individuals potentially left your life, karmic situations by which, again, energetic families protect each other by giving each other relevant information. We support each other. We create energetic systems. And what's interesting about this is you were sitting in a situation where everybody else knew but you. You described the fact that you had a whole family system around you. But instead of energetically preparing you for a modality or experience to make sure that you recognize the sensitivity by which you are entering it, they allowed you to energetically proceed and articulate something, and then watched you and only told you the information after you created the faux pas. And then they went back to dance, which is observations of often feeling. Then this could describe those karmic situations where you felt the reason that you had that energetic protection, or the reason that some of those individuals may no longer be energetically connected to you, are feelings of energy that was not looking out for you, or potentially allowing you to move through experiences without giving you the things you energetically need to make sure that you don't energetically cause trauma along the way. This can often be those who stick around for the drama of things, right? Energy that desires drama will effectively withhold relevant information, potentially to cause trauma, because they like to watch the drama unfold. So this is both the observation of the two fragments of effectively recognizing some of the energetic isolation that you and your friend might feel, while also showing you examples, and again, utilizing the system of a family. This isn't necessarily actually your family, obviously, but the system of a family that says family systems support each other. They give each other what they need to protect each other for situations so that they don't cause trauma. So this is the ability of understanding the space by which you and your friend have potentially moved away from individuals that prioritize drama, which is them seeing something happen that was awful, that made you feel terrible, but then they energetically delighted in the pain that you experienced, because knowing fully that they could have said something to energetically prevent it. Bottom of the deck on this reading. That's why there are so many cards, right? It makes you look like in the dream space, it makes you look like you're the terrible person, right? Because you are working on what you knew. But when someone has all of this information, right? When someone knows fully and recognizes what they could effectively bring forth, it is a conversation that the guides are showing you, saying who was causing the trauma in that situation. Was the trauma being caused by you, who genuinely did not mean to hurt someone? You simply were lacking a key point of information. Or was the trauma in situ caused by all of those individuals who were sitting at the table with you that did not articulate to you the situation? And that's why your cousin ran out, because they recognized it too. They ran out and they threw up, and they recognized it too, because they recognized the situation by which they understood and identified the fact that the energy effectively took their pain and utilized it to energetically embarrass you. Thank you. And so thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you'd like to get on the list is open. It's 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers. Links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I do not read for across these apps: pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. All right. You're welcome. Yeah, the second no, these 2 fragments, like, that was the whole dream. Both fragments are connected. Thank you as well, Maka. Very true. Thank you as well. Good. No, I know this no, this family does none of the, no, it's not, it has nothing to do with the energetic family connected to this. The family that you're seeing in the dream is showing you the example of the friends you had to energetically let go of. That's why the dreams were connected. It's a karmic situation that's using the family as representation points of experiences like that, because it's easier for the guides to show it to you in that way. Yeah, the interpretation is very much applicable. Thank you. You're so welcome, Per. All right. Thank you. I do my best, Avatar. All right, let's continue right now. All right, the next person on the list for today is Bridget. Bridget, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading. Or if you, and I will point out, because your friend was there, this is either experiences that you're healing karmically from or them. Something that you've observed in their experiences could be as well. I'll point that out as well, Per. All right, the next person we're reading for right now is Bridget. Bridget, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. Well, and that's why in the dream, the reason the person expelled is because the expellation was them saying, I'm done with all of you. Right? Like that's why they left. That's why they ran away, because it wasn't the fact it did not go the way that they intended. They said that they were done with all of you because they could see, they could effectively see what was occurring there, which is why, like, again, it's hard because I know you were trying to comfort them, but they weren't running away from you. They were running away from everybody that was at that table. Thank you again, dear. All right, second call for Bridget right now. Second call for Bridget. And if Bridget stepped away, the next person on the list for today is Bex. Bex, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you'd like a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer. I mean, I will point out, the guy, like, it's not about, because like the thing is, and you have to understand, like you asked, you said, why are you never bad? The space by which we embody bad guy energy is the space by which you do something energetically intentional, right? If you how are you energetically the bad guy in a situation by which you were going off the information that you knew, right? Like the space by which the intentionality of energy, not necessarily preparing you, right? We're bad when we're energetically intentional. So like, that's like, it's interesting that you utilize the word bad guy, because it does say to me like the dream is helping you through some shadow work too. Yep. No worries, Nikki. All right, we're going to continue right now. The next person on the list is Bex. But before we begin, we're going to do an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here, and when we count back from 10, I'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The stag. Thank you guys for participating. We'll do it again after the next reading. And I'm going to pull up Bex's question. Guys, make sure, I'm going to pin up Bex here. Make sure to give Bex some love. Outside tea. Hoping to have a mediumship reading with my ancestors about the current state of my family. My family, we seem to be in a state of discord more often than not, to the point of not really being close at all anymore. I'm experiencing a lot of, just reading over. On and off. Okay, I was closest to her longest. Everything close. Okay. My heart hurts right now in terms of seeing somebody go through something, but on top of this dynamic, okay. 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 All right. So just reading over the context of the situation, it sounds like there's a lot of volatility in the family system based upon the loss of a loved one too. And again, I'm sending you so much support on that journey. And I think that it's difficult too, because you're articulating the fact that you feel like you become closer to someone passed through parent connection, but the family itself is in disarray. And what are the thoughts and feelings? I've got you, dear. All right, can I please get Yep. 4 cards in the disorder, please. The message I'm having coming through to someone is the fact that the family's lost their seams. I feel like I'm picking up on energy that was working a lot behind the surface in relationality to helping others with their energetic volatility. And I keep on hearing it's interesting too, because they're not articulating upon the fact that they were glue. They're not saying I wasn't glue, I was the seams. And the thing with seams is, and I keep on hearing somebody say to me, like I see somebody, like somebody coming to another person with a problem about a person. And the reason I keep on hearing seams is because they used to say seems a lot. They're saying, seems to me, right? Seems to me, like I just keep on hearing someone say, seems to me. And I think it's interesting because when they're saying seems to me, it's almost like someone that was trying to come towards another person to say, you're on my side, aren't you? And somebody who would constantly kind of work in the space of saying seems to me, like helping another person see with clarity based on their energetic perception. And I keep on getting the seams gone because the seam's gone, because I now see the energy. When the seam's gone, there's somebody who's not there to tell somebody that they're wrong, that the way that they're looking at something isn't correct, right? Like the space by which another person gets too much in their own headspace, you know, and sometimes, like I keep on hearing, when somebody's in the wrong headspace, having the right person chime in and say, seems to me that, you know, this is what's happening, not what you think is happening. It can sometimes, when you're in a healthy space, you know, it gives you it gives you a point of pause, right? The outside opinion that gives you a point of pause. It doesn't necessarily directly tell you what to do, but shows you the way you should look at something, to think about whether you're seeing something with clarity. And I keep on hearing the seams gone, which is basically somebody who's not allowing the context by which energy can give energy the benefit of the doubt. So I feel like I see a lot of energy. Everybody is having a volatility point in the fact that they've lost their seam. Um, you know, in the space of, like, and I said, in the space by which you identified one individual who you felt like you've been fighting with for a long time, like I said, I almost feel like the space by which another person was bringing their frustrations to another person, and then again, being able to be mollified by another person's seams, which is again, the observation of them effectively knowing, like knowing someone enough that they'd be able to say, like, this is what I actually think is going on there. And so basically, I feel like I said, like, you're basically observing a bunch of energy that feels like they are flying blind, which is they don't have the energy that used to provide them the benefit of the doubt in relationality to trying to ascertain what is going on with everyone. Um, and I feel like it's hard because, you know, what I keep on seeing about this is, you know, the space by which you articulated that a lot of these individuals that you're speaking towards, they don't talk to one another unless there's something urgent. Um, it's like I said, like that is also the sound of potentially, I keep on getting, like, working through. And I feel like you almost, like, I feel like you have to pull, I think you have, like, the thing you, and I'm not sure if you've been getting this in your own, like, in your own connection with this person, which is saying, like, I almost hear them saying that they're not there to do it, like, they're not there to do it anymore, you know? Um, and I feel like it's a space by which somebody was expressing frustration because energy wasn't giving energy the benefit of the doubt, which is like articulating upon the fact, like I almost hear a bunch of energy having conversations with each other saying, I don't feel like they care about me. And then being like, seems to me, like I almost see them saying, when was the last time that you expressed care for them? Right? Like it's almost like I see a situation where I keep on hearing somebody. It's like I see somebody who was sitting like in the center of something, and the main thrust of every conversation that they were experiencing had to do with the energy saying, I don't think they care about me. And then being like, that's what they've been saying to me about you. Right. So I keep on hearing, I keep on hearing them say, imagine an echo chamber. Like, what do you do about an echo chamber with a bunch of individuals that kept on going towards someone and saying, I don't think they care about me. And another person saying, you're all saying the same thing to me. But having to start, I keep on hearing like having to start applying that care to one another is what I keep on seeing, because I almost see a situation where every time there was some kind of situation by which there was volatility, they would be reassured by the care through that individual. So I feel like it's almost requiring that space of having to open the conversation to articulate to each other how much you care about each other. But the hard part about it is I see a situation like this is what I keep on getting, a bunch of energy that doesn't necessarily feel cared for, but I keep on seeing it's the lack of care that leads to less care. So I feel like I'm sure you've been picking up on this too in terms of how you're connecting with them. They want somebody, like they want somebody to step in and to start to do that heavy lifting. I feel like I keep on hearing it's not the work of one. It's a work of, it's like it's having to create that space of intentionality in terms of being able to identify and articulate how much you mean to each other. And I keep on hearing how much you mean to each other without someone having to be in a point of crisis in order for everyone to show, without a crisis occurring is what I keep on getting. Because I see you in a bunch of energy that when there's a crisis, there's not a question. Like when there's a crisis, I keep wondering when there's a crisis, it's not a question, but it should be there without a crisis, but having to facilitate the fact that there's care is what I keep on getting. So I feel like that is the observation that's energetically, like that's what I keep on getting. And I feel like I see somebody. It's interesting too. I wouldn't be surprised if someone's not dreaming about this person, because I've got them up in everybody's dream space right now. They're not happy. Is what I mean, like, but I keep on getting like not happy because like I don't mean, I mean like they're not resting. They're not resting in spirit. I keep on hearing somebody say, I'm not resting in spirit until you guys are getting along, is what I keep on getting, Like I like sometimes I pick up on energy like this, which is almost like the energy saying like it's like it's like they're like I feel like they feel like they're working even harder now. And I feel like I feel like I can see a lot of these messages coming directly to you, because I feel like you are always the one that was more receptive to listening, is what I keep, like I feel like, I keep on hearing someone shouting in spirit, it wasn't a weird dream, it was a message. It wasn't a weird dream, it was a message, because it does feel like I almost feel like I see some kind of situation by which another person is trying to articulate the fact that they don't want, like they don't want you guys coming across, like they don't want you guys coming apart at the seams, even though they're not there to effectively facilitate. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, like the thing about this, there's something I'm seeing in relationality to, I don't know, are there differences here in relationality to, I don't know why I keep on hearing the word politics. Like it's like I see some kind of situation here. Um, I don't know why that word came up, but I keep on getting that, like I said, like that there's something really significant. Like I see in relationality. And it's funny too, because this has been coming through a lot in the collective. The difference between protecting and protective, right? When we care about each other, we're protective. We honor each other's choices. Protecting is the space by which we see another and we feel like they're making the wrong choices. And I feel like that's the space too, where I almost see somebody who is always articulating, saying, how does that hurt you? Like, how does that affect you? You know, like that, I feel like this can often come towards us in the space by which another person is feeling energetically triggered. And I keep on hearing, like, that's what I kept on hearing in terms of someone saying, like, seems to me, right? Because that observation of another person, like when we're feeling triggered, it can often feel like someone's hurting us, but they're just being themselves. And so it says to me, like, I feel like that's the space by which you have to experience the understanding that the ability to be the self, you can't be upset about, like, not, it's like not all feelings are alike, because, and that's the hard part when I pick up energy like this. If someone isn't in touch with their feelings and they're just being triggered by another person being themselves, that can often be indicative of someone who needs to do work on the self. Because if you can't articulate why someone being themselves bothers the self, it's usually because it's triggering something that is underserved within the self. So I feel like it's almost like it feels to me like I keep on hearing, if you're the source of that, then it's even harder for you to have to facilitate that work, because you can't be in the space by which you're trying to articulate that you want everybody to get along when a bunch of energy isn't doing their shadow work effectively and feeling energetically triggered in the experience of navigating you. So I feel like there's something about that that's almost like I keep on hearing, like allow the proportionality. I keep on hearing a healthy conversation is always articulated by the fact that you offer it, but you can't chase after a healthy conversation because it becomes an uncomfortable conversation. So I keep on saying, think about offering opportunities, right? Like the ability to articulate that you would love the opportunity, or to effectively offer that that's something that's there, but not being able to energetically force it. Because I keep on seeing, like, even especially if like you forcing it has been an issue about others, like articulating, like I keep on, like, that's the thing about it, like you can try to be as nice as possible to another person, and if they're articulating the fact that you're trying to force an energetic connection, like I see you almost having to say to another person, like it's not, like you can say, like, you can welcome it but you can't force it, which is always the space but you say, like, I think I keep on hearing, like, allowing that context by which you're perpetually inviting another in terms of what you aspire for, you know? Like I keep on hearing, like, this is the sound of you always saying to another person, the door is always open, you know? But I feel how, I see how difficult that is. Thank you so much, dear, for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. If you would like to get on the list is open. 3 cards for a donation of $29 or more, 4 cards for a donation of $23 or more for my subscribers, links in my bio. Please keep in mind there are 2 things I don't read for across these apps, pregnancy and medical. Happy to give insight on anything in private readings, and you can book private readings on my site. And I think I'm actually going to be closing the list for today. I know we came on a little bit later today, but the next person we're reading for is, I'm looking for Megan. Megan, if you're here, can you respond in all caps? Let me know if you, I'm going to take a moment to read over the comments that came through as I was reading. Also, friends, we're at 47.6K likes. When we get to 50K, I'll be gifting a reading back to the collective, so make sure you're tapping that screen. We'll get to 50K in no time. All right. Yep. Oh, I can understand that. Yeah. All of us so off. No, not always. I get excited when I get one right, as you should. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. When you get it right, you're like, I gotta buy a lottery ticket. Reminds, yeah, it is very much like the glue baby. You're totally right, Nikki. Yeah, I remember that used to make me, I remember that used to make me mad about my mom. She never, no, but that's what she had to. That's what I kept on hearing. Seems to me like someone who recognized that their responsibility was building seams, which is like, I see somebody who's like, if you guys like, I see somebody saying like, I'm on the side that everybody gets along. I'm not on anybody's side. You know, it's a hard message. Yeah. And no, I can see it. They worked, I feel like, again, it's like they worked tirelessly to do that. Yeah, I feel like I'm always in the middle and part of me wants to be selfish. I get it. The human self. Sort of more like, yeah, lifestyle choices that are different. And that's what I keep on getting and really, yeah, exactly. When I'm myself, I'm misperceived, so I often retreat. And that's what I keep on hearing. It's if you're in the space by which you're the one that's getting projected upon, it needs somebody else to step in, right? Because it's not the space. You can't be in a space by which another person's projecting and then you're trying to correct and they're just projecting further. Yeah, hold on a minute. Yeah, that's exactly, yeah, just when I said this is hard, you gave me the key. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad that something I gave you helped with that. You're welcome, dear. And thank you so much, Shmi. All right, we're going to continue right now. Before we continue, we're going to be doing an intuition check. I've got the animal spirit guide cards here. We're going to count back from 10, and when we get to 1, we'll reveal the card. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We got the owl. All right, before we continue, Clay, did you get on the list? Megan, can you just do me a favor and give me the initial, the last initial to where you sent the donation? I don't need the full last name. I just need the initial. These are donation-based readings, Clay. So if you want to get on the list, you have to send a donation. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, just bear with me a moment. Thank you, dear. All right. And Megan, can you let me know if we're doing a general reading or if you have a specific question you'd like me to answer? Oh, thank you, Clay. That's really kind of you to say. Okay. And I haven't seen your question come through yet, Megan, so you may need to, it might be getting filtered. So you may need to relist it. You need to post it up again, or you might need to change the words that you're using to ask the question. Ah, there it is. Okay, I've got you. And I'm going to pin up Megan here. Guys, make sure to give Megan some love. Going through heavy times. Angelic message, please. Highest priority messages from Spirit, please. Angelic. I feel like, is there some kind of locational issue happening here? Um, yeah, I mean, like the thing I want you to understand, transition spaces are always really difficult. Um, I don't want you making any hasty decisions until after you've energetically settled somewhere. Um, because, and I need to stress this. Like I see some kind of, I don't know why I'm getting this message that says there are certain times we have to be certain places to be energetically credentialed on something. But earning our energetic credentials somewhere does not mean we have to stay there. It's a very specific message that I'm getting. Sometimes the space by which I keep on hearing, and I keep on hearing, like, I feel like this is like, there's something to be said by which I see something that's going to get easier for you on the side of a move. And I keep on hearing it has to do with the same thing I just experienced, like I just stated, that sometimes the space by which we stay in an energetic location to be credentialed is the credential, is what I keep on getting. And I feel like there's something really important about that because um, I feel like this isn't you. I keep on hearing this isn't you giving up on something. This is you hitting cruising altitude. This is you shifting gears into something that allows you to kind of give some energy back to yourself, is what I keep on getting. Because wherever you were, like that was requiring you to effectively energetically spin your wheels, is what I keep on seeing. Like there's a lot of this, I feel like, and I want to describe this, especially, and this is why we talk about, um, like, I keep on getting all of these messages that are coming through in relationality to understanding. Um, and I'll just walk you through what I'm seeing a little bit. Like, I see the fact that you're moving away from something because you can't stand something anymore. And I keep on getting that is, if that's how you're feeling, congratulations, you're energetically maturing, right? The sound of us maturing is often amplified and articulated upon us getting sick of things. And I feel like there's something important about that, because I almost see a situation by which you're recognizing or identifying what your purpose is, and then seeing a lot of energy around you. Like, when we understand our purpose, never will we look around ourselves more and see energy like making big deals out of absolutely nothing, is what I keep on seeing. Like the type of energy I keep on getting, like the type of energy. And I think that this is important because I keep on hearing, and it's interesting too, because the angelic guide that's near you is articulating upon the difference between self-centered and centered within self. Okay? How do you tell the difference between self-centered and centered within self? Self-centered is when there's so much observation or so much anxiety that you only see something through the optics of the self, right? It's the refinement system by which and the way you can usually tell that somebody is self-centered is that they're taking an entitled view on things. And what is an entitled view? It's when you see somebody operating out of a state of need and you articulate that they're making a choice. So somebody that says, like, why are they choosing to do that? And you just want to, and often, like, when somebody's self-centered, you want to grab them and shake them and be like, because there's no choice. Like, because there's no choice. The fact that you think that your choice, the fact that you're seeing choice in the space by which another person is operating it from need is literally your entitlement speaking. And so if you're in that modality by which you're seeing that, congratulations, right? Because it's the observation. Like, I almost see a situation right now where you're moving away from something, right? Like, I keep on seeing, like, you're putting some energetic distance between something, but I feel like the distance that you're putting is, so I keep wondering if you're moving away from something so that you can concentrate on something that's energetically important to you. I keep on hearing that is not self-centered. That is centered in self. And centered in self is the observation of knowing what our energetic purpose is. Not allowing ourselves to get, I keep wondering, like, not allowing ourselves to get caught up in the, I keep on hearing, like, someone else's psychodrama, or working through the space of like of effectively, I keep on getting like having to, how do I describe this? Like, I feel like I see you kind of simplifying on things or desiring something simpler. And I keep on getting, often those that are centered in self start making simpler decisions, because simpler decisions are often the space by which you look at something that feels like it's unnecessarily complicated and saying, like, I choose something easier. And I keep on hearing that if you're doing that, like, this is, and I know that there's this like energetic anxiety in relationality to like doing something in a different way. But I keep on seeing that it feels like, I keep on seeing like you're taking a step. And I know why, and this is what's coming through with this angelic guidance. They're saying you're taking a step back so that you can see something with greater clarity. And I keep on getting like the observation of being able to take a step back to see something with greater clarity. You know, I feel like there's a lot of that energy that almost says to me that you're prioritizing. Like, I almost feel like I keep on hearing like this is you making some kind of choice to prioritize upon your own creativity, is what I keep on getting, or allowing the context by which you're giving yourself, you're creating I keep wondering, creativity cannot exist in the vortex of necessity, which is the space by which a situation or a place by which I keep on hearing you have to do everything you do is necessary in order to energetically survive. Doesn't allow the space by which your creativity can thrive, is what I keep on saying. So it almost feels to me like, don't let somebody, I don't know why the word creativity, don't let somebody else tell you what is and is not best for your creativity. Because if this is a situation, like, I almost feel like I see a situation where you're moving away from and I like to point this out. Do you ever notice that real creatives never live in a creative hub? Critics live in a creative hub. The creatives are always outside of the creative hub because you can't stand to be within the creative hub because there's too much hubbub, right? It's too much talking about creativity and never getting down to the brass tacks of doing it, is what I keep on hearing. So I feel like I keep on hearing, like, if that's something that's happening right now, like, don't let another person's critical decisions on something you're doing for the sake of your creativity affect you, right? Because even then, like, I keep on getting, like, even then, that observation, like, I keep on getting that observation of somebody, I keep on hearing somebody who'd rather, someone who'd rather be energetically like immersed in the creativity instead of creating. I keep on hearing we follow the creativity where it goes, which is often the space by which we allow ourselves the context of being able to find ourselves in order to create more. Bottom of the deck on this reading. Yeah, this is so locational. I don't know if this is like a relationship that's separating in the process of some kind of choice as it relates to locationality, but I keep on hearing creativity. Creativity is not conditional. Creativity is not conditional in space of locationality. But I'll tell you right, and and this is the wild part. Again, the space by which you find creativity is often not usually the space by which you find creatives, because the difference between being immersed in something versus having the ability to create it, like I keep on seeing, like I almost feel like this is you and another person, like having an argumentation point in relationality to what it means to be inspired, right? And so I almost see a situation by which another person, like I keep on hearing, like, do you want to be inspired or do you want to be creative? Because I keep on hearing that when you're energetically, and I feel like it's almost like I keep on getting the space by which another person, like arguing with you in relationality to not feeling inspired in a place. Inspiration is everywhere, is what I keep on getting. Inspiration is every, you know what I mean? Like, this is why I keep on hearing, like, this is why we don't thumb our nose. Like, this is why we don't thumb our nose in terms of like different places. Because I keep on, I feel like in a way, like, I feel like this is you kind of like moving away from some energy. Like I told you, like, it feels like almost like you moving away from some entitled energy, which has, and again, sometimes you can tell that energy is entitled, where they, like, never are we more entitled than when we basically have a feeling that, like, if you're not, like, if you're not in a certain location, then nothing important is occurring. You know what I mean? Like, it's that type of, like, and I keep on seeing, like, the space by which you move away from a location, if that breaks a friendship, what does that have to say about the friendship, is what I keep on hearing. You know? If it's like, if it's, I keep wondering if it's the energy, like if it's the energy that turns their nose from coming to visit you because you're not in the middle of where like everything's happening. Like, I feel like that's, you know, I keep on hearing, like, you've got like a really strong angelic protector that almost articulates as saying, that's the protection. Like, that's the protection, is what I keep on, like, that's the protection doing its work, is what I keep on hearing. Like, I keep on hearing, it's not rejection, it's all protection, which is like, it's not rejection, it's all protection, which is to say, if putting distance between in a location erases a relationship, well, then again, the locationality is doing its due diligence to energetically protect you from what isn't in alignment to you. Thank you so much for having that reading with me. And if this message connected to you as well, it's very common for those who need these messages to be here to experience them. We are doing personal readings right now. And the list is closed, but if you'd like to get on the list for tomorrow, you'll be the first person read for. You'll also have an additional card in your reading. I'm going to take a moment to read over some of the comments that came through as I was reading. I'm also still looking for Bridget. I don't know where Bridget went. We're also, oh, we got to 52K. Thank you guys. We're going to do a giveaway and I'm going to gift a reading back to the collective. I'm going to take a moment to read over the comments that came through as I was reading. All right. Oh, that's wonderful, Shmi. I'm glad that that was in connection to your reading. I'm moving right now. Thank you for confirmation. Yes, very sick of a certain energy. Self-centered or centered within self. Love this. Thank you, Ella. This reading resonates so much. Sending you support as well, Ella. And again, thank you for having that reading with me, Megan, and wishing you so much support on that journey. And wishing you luck. I feel like things are going to be, just be patient right now. I think things are going to be easier for you once you're on the other side of this too. Marie, thank you for the follow. All right, we're going to continue right now. Second call right now for Bridget. If Bridget isn't here, we're going to be moving into one card readings for subscribers. If you are a subscriber who would like a one card pulled, go ahead and put your question in the comment. If you would like to become a subscriber, just hit hit the super fan button. That's before you put your one cards in. Wait. We have to do the 50K. Hold on. Yeah, hold on a minute. Oh, she did. I missed that, Nikki. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Paintbrush, for being here and receiving these messages. Okay, before we begin, I'm going to do the 50K giveaway. I am thinking of a number right now between 1 1 in 25. First person I see the post number will get the reading. First person I see, not the first person. Nikki got it. Well done, Nikki. That was awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll do that again after the next reading. That was really fun. After the conversation about, it was 17. All right, after the conversation that we were just talking about. Okay. All right, Nikki, highest priority from 1 minute. And I believe, yep. All right, Nikki, highest priority messages, please. 1 card for Nikki. That's wild. You're like, mind meld. All right. Yeah, this is interesting because I feel like it's very much in the continuation of when you're looking right now for, I keep wondering, when you're looking right now for occupation, focus on the snow dream, which is saying, would I feel like that there? You know what I meant? Like, you know what I mean? Like that ability of effectively feeling like that delight of waking up every day and saying to the self, like, oh goody, I get to do this, is what I keep on hearing. Yeah, like the reason you're having those dreams is it's trying to show you what it feels like to be in a state of energetic bliss. And a state of energetic bliss isn't the space by which you don't have something to do, but it's a space by which you say, I could do this all day. That's why I kept on saying, what were you doing? Like, what were you doing in those dreams? What did you see yourself doing on that day? Because that is you operating out of a state of bliss. So again, like, let that kind of help you. And I feel like the reason they're bringing that dream to you is being able to look at things and say, would this bring me into that state? Right? Like, would it create that feeling like that? I keep on hearing, like, I just keep on hearing, I could do this all day. Right? Thank you so much, dear. Okay. Continuing, 1 card readings for subscribers. Oh, Bridget's back. Bridget, you want your reading? I've got a reading for you today. We were looking for you. No, it's okay. Per number between 1 and 25, me, 27. I like it. 1 card, good vibes, highest priority in love today, please. This is speaking towards, I feel like we're seeing some kind of circumstance or situation, like learning that it's, oh, your feelings are not going to damage a healthy relationship. I feel like as long as you're doing the work to recognize, like articulate what the feelings are asking for, your emotions are protection. Yeah, especially, like I keep on hearing, like, especially in relationality, like feelings don't ruin anything. Feelings don't ruin anything that's going in the right direction. You should write that down. Feelings don't ruin anything that's going in the right direction. But when something's not going into the right direction and you bring up your feelings and it starts to fall apart, that's usually exactly like the feelings did not break it. The feelings protected you from it. That's wild. You said to them to pick the number and he picked 17. That's hilarious. I love that. In situ. In situ. Melissa, 1 card general, please. Who asked them? You know? I feel like this is somebody like, you know, that's the thing with opinions, man. You can't say you don't like something. Like, it's like, I almost feel like you're having like a conversation with someone being like, I don't like it, being like, it's not about whether you like something. Sometimes not liking it is the point, you know? Like, I feel like it's you having an art debate with someone. And again, the misconception of art is someone thinking that art has anything to do with likability, is what I keep on hearing. Yeah, Justice card and its reversal. You know? Like, I keep on hearing some things are supposed to make you feel uncomfortable. Like, that's the point of them, is what I keep on hearing. you know? It's like I like to point this out, like the space by which like it almost feels like somebody like telling on themselves, you know? Like like it's saying to me like we don't shy away. I keep wondering like you have a conversation which says like we don't shy away from uncomfortability. We just articulate that it's energetically uncomfortable is what I keep on getting. Ella, one card highest priority around them, please. Hmm. I feel like there's something about I feel like there's something important here I'm seeing in relationality to I see somebody that sometimes has a hard time communicating how they feel, you know? And it almost gives me the energy like often sometimes when someone has an issue with how they feel, like it's a space by which like I like to point this out like saying I keep wondering saying nothing is often saying everything, you know? All I keep on hearing in relationality to that reading. I owe every and speaking of which, I owe everyone animal spirit guide cards, so I need to go back for a minute. But yeah, like, you know, hard person to know. A lot I keep wondering a lot going on under the surface is what I keep on hearing. Potential issues communicating, but it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings about something. I just keep on seeing like sometimes they I feel like they've had moments in the past they're like working not to let their feelings break things is what I keep on hearing. All right. Just going back for a moment. All right, Nikki, your animal spirit guide card. Yeah, the Ren energy, which is basically like I feel like this is you know, not moving towards I keep wondering like not moving toward like I feel like this is you in the past moving towards things by which like I keep on seeing like feeling like having some kind of feeling of trying to like earn something, but I keep on hearing like the difference between like I keep on yearning to earn versus following your bliss is the space by which you feel energetically comfortable because I feel like this is a space by which you're not trying to escape from your life. You're trying to find something energetically adjacent to it. All right. Good vibes. Highest party animal spirit guide for love for you is the blackbird. Again, your feelings, like again, it's confirmation what we said. Your feelings are your protection. As long as you're doing the work to recognize what the feelings are asking for, they don't break anything that's going in the right direction. High underscore that's going in the right direction. Mel, one card, please, for Mel, animal spirit guide. Well, no, that was one card for Mel. Fire dragon. You know, I feel like it's almost you talking to somebody being like, the job of something is not to make you feel comfortable. It's supposed to make you feel something. It's supposed to be a conversation. You know, I always like that. I feel like it has something to do with art or like the purpose of it, potentially like having to help another person be like, well, it doesn't make me feel good. Like art's not supposed to make you feel good. That's what I keep on hearing. It's not supposed to make, it's not about feeling good. It's about like a conversation, you know? You might have to explain that to another person. All right. Yep. No, it's okay, Bridget. I was waiting for you to come back to do your reading. Okay. Yeah, you can absolutely save that reading, dear. Creative, one card on love, please. I feel like I see you like I keep wondering, recognizing the difference between energy that's pulling in the direction, like shared manifestation goals, um, like shared manifestation goals should not feel like a debate. It shouldn't feel like we're pulling each other towards it. It should just be the space by which we identify what it is that we're trying to do in order to facilitate doing it most effectively. Bottom of the deck on it, Yeah, here's the, like, I feel like it's something for you on love. I keep wondering, observe, don't absorb. You know, if you're bringing that level of like, I feel like this has to do with someone that understands like how much you do, like what your workload is, like I feel like this is you kind of like healing from situations that like I keep wondering, healthy energy will see us like operating on all cylinders and only articulate upon the fact that we're being energetically neglectful. But I almost see you almost like recognizing like the energy that's for you in love is going to see you working like that and is going to articulate or amplify how they can help or how they can facilitate you doing something better, is what I keep on getting. Animal spirit guide, you're not too busy for love. You're not too busy for love. You need someone that wants to support you in what you're doing. I keep on hearing something you do is not damaged. Like unless I keep wondering, like it's finding someone who understands what it means to have priorities, or what it means to like have to be like, I keep on getting like on all the time. Like I keep wondering, they're not gonna judge you for it, or they're not gonna be hard on you about it. But I feel like you're healing from some kind of situation. And I like to point this out, when we're not in a healthy situation, you know, we'll be doing everything, and someone will just be articulating, saying, "Why aren't you doing more?" You know? Exactly. I know. Oh, Ella, I'm sending you so much support on that journey. All right, one card for Bridget on counterpart, please. You're welcome, good. I see some kind of like, I feel it's interesting. Like I almost feel like I see somebody that feels like they're, and like I see somebody who almost feels like they're in energetic union, because they're viewing things from the like the observation of the counterpart. You know, I keep on getting the same message with someone being um, like this is not, like I see somebody being like, this is not where I'm going to find them. But like I feel like there's something about this where they've gotten some kind of hope and relationality to a situation. You know, like I feel like this is them finding someone that like, and I keep on hearing like they're finding someone so they can find counterpart, is what I keep on seeing. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, like I think I told you, I keep on reading a situation where someone is trying to move away from something, but they need to find someone to energetically like replace them. And so I just keep on seeing a situation where somebody is like, yeah, like building into some kind of hopefulness in relationality to articulating to another, like what that is. Like I almost feel like this is like, I see somebody kind of like having some kind of sigh of relief, because I feel like it's almost like I feel like they're getting closer to figuring out who that person can be, is what I keep on getting. It's like I see them being like I see, like I almost see them like having conversations with another, in terms of them feeling like very, very sure about that determination point. Yep. One card, Avatar. You got two cards coming in because you were the second highest winner today on feelings. Um, it feels like energy that I mean, it's interesting that you're using the word counterparts, because I feel like it's almost like it's not reading to me counterparts, but more so energy that feels like in some um like there's a conversation that needs to happen there, you know? Like did someone leave some kind of conversation open-ended, is what I keep on getting. I keep on hearing the same message, like a healthy relationship doesn't end things with a question mark, you know? Um, bottom of the deck. Yeah, especially with the Hierophant in its reversal. I don't know. I don't know why, but it almost feels like I see some kind of situation by which, like, and I keep on hearing, if these were situations where all you did was effectively articulate upon what it is that you wanted in relationship, and someone didn't answer, like I keep on hearing, let that facilitate the energetic closure point, because I keep on seeing, like, it's like it almost feels to me like animal spirit guide, yeah, like frog energy. Like somebody trying to be very casual about something that you still have a lot of feelings about is what I keep on seeing. Don't let it energetically bother you if you felt like you communicated to another person upon what that they like. I keep on hearing, like, I don't know, I keep on hearing like it's a simple yes or no answer. And often in the space by which we ask for one and another person doesn't give us one, like that sometimes allows us a space by which we can build upon closure, is what I keep on seeing. You know? Alexandra, good to see you, dear. One card on this work. Ooh, okay. I mean, it feels like, I don't know, I keep on hearing like some kind of cost saving measure is what I'm getting. Bottom of the deck. Yeah, it doesn't feel like, I feel like it has to do with like worrying or working through some kind of uncertainty in relationality to what is happening, or waiting for some kind of decision on something is what I keep on getting. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, like earth dragon, like it feels a little like an overabundance of caution on something is what I keep on seeing. I don't think it's about anything anyone has done, if that makes sense. Okay. Thank you for confirmation, Avatar. Were their answers completely to drop the ball? Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ella. Hi, Julia. One card, highest and best, please. I feel like this is saying, like, I feel like this is the sound of you proving energy wrong, you know? And if it's bittersweet, I keep on hearing the same message for you. If it's bittersweet, recognize that you did that all your own, you know? Yeah, I keep on hearing there's no luck about it, is what I keep on getting. Like, I feel like this is, like, there's no luck about it, but it's hard not to hurt those who doubted it, right? Like, I feel like this is you kind of working through that space of feeling energetic, emotional. And I feel like you've got a lot of angelic energy around you, right? Because the angelic energy often articulates about the right of being upset, right? If there's something that's happening there where you know that you should be getting a lot of congratulations, but the energy around you's gone silent, I want you to recognize that that's like, I want you to be energetically proud of how far you've come, and the fact that you did that. You get to carry that. Like you accomplished that. You proved, like that is the sound of you proving others wrong, because you're moving towards what feels, but I know that it's emotional, because I can see, like, I feel like you've got a lot of angelic energy around you trying to support some of those like raw feelings that are coming up, is what I keep on getting. Yep. Brooke, these are one card readings for super fans, so if you'd like to become a super fan, I'm happy to draw a card for you. All right, my friends, final call for any of my subscribers who have not had a card pulled. Yes, Ruby, we're doing them right now, dear. And again, if you are a subscriber who has not had a card pulled yet this evening, just go ahead and put your question in the comments. I'll happy to pull a card for you. If you'd like to become a super fan, you can have a card drawn. Just go ahead and hit that super fan status. One card on that connection, please. Every time I read for this person, I just feel like you and another person have a lot of, I keep on getting chart synastry, is what I keep on seeing. which is just like the space by which I keep on hearing like uncanny similarities in relationality to sometimes when we have a lot of like synastry with another person, we hold uncanny similarities between experiences that we've had, is what I keep on getting. But I feel like too, remember when I said in relationality to like making sure like the clarity by which you understand where you find someone in terms of bottom of the deck, like making sure that you're not crossing the streams, because I keep on hearing they're a bit behind you in relationality to something that you've energetically healed from. You know? It's interesting. Bottom of animal spirit guide. Yeah, like look at that. That fire dragon doesn't want to stay in the deck right now. I feel like it's saying to me like a lot of that, I keep on getting like a lot of that energy between you and them. I keep on hearing like something about something that you previously experienced is like they're still in the process of working it through or working it out, is what I keep on getting. But I keep on hearing like it's like the same space where it's like if you're like you guys are feeling really energetically connected, but I keep on getting the fact that like making sure that you're not crossing the streams in relationality to like being in such close proximity versus like the manifestation goal in terms of what one is going towards, because it does feel like I keep on getting like it's charged, like it's charged energy between you and them, right? But I keep on hearing charged isn't a manifestation goal, you know? Yeah. Excellent. Hi there, momming. These are 1-card readings for subscribers. So if you'd like to become a subscriber, I'm happy to draw a card for you. Yeah, like I keep on hearing observing the charged energy between you, but not letting it overwhelm you is what I kept getting, Ruby. You're welcome, dear. All right, final call right now for any of my subscribers who have not had a card pulled this evening. Just a reminder, I will be back on tomorrow at our typical time. If you became a subscriber today and would like to be added to our subscriber-only disco channel, just message me directly from this live with a disco GIF. I'll be happy to add you to the list. If you would like information about our trip scheduled for August, message me the word trip. And if you would like to learn more, if you would like a special discount code to our class program, message me the word class. I got 1 card for pieces coming through. I feel like it's a message from your guides about not wanting to energetically overwhelm you. Like recognizing and doing the work to identify what feels too much versus what I feel like you can always articulate to your guides if something feels like it's too overwhelming. Bottom of the deck, yeah. Like the guides never want to give you more. Like they don't want to have you in a state of energetic distress. They want to feel like something they're giving you is energetically supportive. But I also feel like this is you doing the work to like set those healthy boundaries right now. You know? Animal spirit guide, yeah, like the sow energy. You know, like I feel like that's you effectively articulating and identifying like what is energetically possible versus like what is possible versus what is energetically sustainable. So I keep on hearing like the healthy location for you is where your feelings are energetically heard. So like I keep on hearing don't stay in rooms that make you feel like you have to raise your voice in order to be heard, is what I keep on hearing. You're so welcome, dear. All right, my friends. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and receiving these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here and receiving these messages. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. Oh, I got you, Minnie. 1 card from Minnie. I mean, it feels like somebody who appreciates your honesty. You know? Bottom of the deck. Yeah, I feel like they've experienced something in the past by which another person was not able to communicate their emotions as well as you do. So something about that ability of being able to articulate upon how your feelings are. Like I see somebody like trying to recover from the trauma of another person, like like conversing about things, and then recognizing like how easy it can just be between you and them. Animal spirit guide. Yeah, especially with the hawk, you know, like the gift of giving someone a heads up, which is like the space by which we talk to each other about how we're feeling in order to avoid a worse feeling, is what I keep on seeing, you know? And so I feel like they appreciate, I keep wondering, like they appreciate your ability to like self-observe. So that I keep wondering, they appreciate your ability to self-observe so that you can articulate like what they need to be doing better, is what I keep on hearing. Thank you, dear. All right, my friends, I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and receiving these messages. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. I'll be back on tomorrow at our standard time. So if you want to be notified as I want to go on live, go ahead and head over to my profile, hit that bell there, and turn on notifications. You can also register directly for the event tomorrow. Huge thank you to my followers, old and new. Thank you for being here today and sharing in these messages. Huge thank you to my subscribers. Your ongoing support means the absolute world to me. And the biggest thank you to my mods. I hope you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of one another. And we'll do this again tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone.